them and breaking into, the military headquarters. That was the only apology. So just by all accounts, just a bizarre story and making national headlines. Other national headlines: the death toll rising once again, 120 confirmed dead, at least 173 people missing, and that takes us to Kerr County, Texas, in the aftermath of those flash floods. So I know there's a lot of news swirling with Governor Abbott now calling for immediate to put in place those sirens that were lacking.
Yeah.
And a lot of questions.
All right. We're back up on YouTube for all of those who love to watch the show. You should be able to go back in and begin streaming the show again live if you want to watch us on video.
So let's talk about it. Piazza Auto Group, thank you for sponsoring Kayal and Company News Live today. The Honda Summer Event is going on right now. Piazza Honda in Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, Reading, Springfield. Visit them. PiazzaHonda.com for the latest lease. We just bought 2 cars. So my husband got the CRV, which is one of the most popular vehicles. I got the HRV, which is smaller and sportier, but there's some awesome deals. So I got the lease. He bought it. He puts too many miles to lease, but these are awesome cars.
Love it.
Piazza Auto Group. Nick and I both drive, obviously Piazza vehicles. So go for the latest lease and finance offers from KBB's best value brands. So winning all those awards. Piazza Auto Group, thank you for sponsoring us, and Amazon sponsoring our forecast this morning. Not a great forecast. It's cloudy. It's cooler. If you wanted it, you got it as far as cooler temps. So even though it's going to be in the mid-80s today, it's going to feel like such a relief because we've been with the heat indices in the 100-degree marks. Not as bad a stormy day, but a potential for some severe quick storms to move through later on in the day. So just watch that one and watch the flooded areas. Moving through, I will say the weekend looks lovely. So at least we'll get a nice weekend in the mid-80s. Amazon, Prime Days. Okay. Good news for you, as we've got some great news. The good news is Amazon Prime Day is here, and it's the great news this year. You'll have 4 days in full to find the deals on all of your favorite things. Shop Prime Day now through tomorrow, through July 11th. July 11th is your last day for Amazon Prime Days. Thank you, Amazon, for sponsoring our forecast. Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. I believe we're having some technical issues with Sean's microphone because of the YouTube and the stream. It's amazing how many computer issues that we could have at a place like this. We've got all the gizmos imaginable under the sun, the greatest setup in the history of radio, 42 billion square feet here. And it just all week long computer issues. I'd like to be like Keith. Remember back in the day of Charlie Steiner on that SportsCenter commercial for Y2K when everybody felt like the computers were going to crash?
Yes.
And he was running around, he had a bandana on his head, and he had a big Louisville Slugger, and he was just smashing computers. That's what I would like to do right about now. All right, we'll do
maybe the storms, Nick.
Yeah, it might be the storms. Yeah, computers. All right, we'll get to the trade and tariff talk on the other side. Hopefully we can get Sean figured out, and then we're going to get to these court cases that I teased earlier. It's Kayal and Company, where the computers always crash, on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds, through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at Hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED. But Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/radio. That's Hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
You know you have pride in your team when you offer a guarantee for the life of your roof. That's right, for decades and thousands of roof installations, the award-winning team at GP Martini lives for roofing. That's why homeowners trust GP Martini to protect their largest investment. Whether you're considering an asphalt, shingle roof, metal roof, or even a solar roof, you can trust GP Martini Roofing. Visit martiniroofing.com. There's probably a satisfied GP Martini customer in your neighborhood. martiniroofing.com.
Dawn Stensland here. What an exciting time for my friends at the Piazza Auto Group and their 5 Honda dealerships. Honda has won more 2025 Kelley Blue Book Consumer Choice Awards than any other brand, including Best Overall Brand, Most Trusted Brand, Best Valued Brand. Whether you're eyeing the Accord CR-V or the Pilot, you are choosing a vehicle backed by real drivers. Come experience the award-winning excellence at Piazza Honda in Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, Reading, or Springfield. You can always shop online, piazzahonda.com, for today's special offers. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040.
I'm Rhett.
And I'm Link.
And we're the hosts of the podcast Ear Biscuits. We're just 2 lifelong friends who've been talking about life for a long time.
From being dads to businessmen to all the random things we experience, nothing is off limits.
And now we're talking to you. We're answering your questions, giving advice that you may or may not want to take, and listening to your hilarious stories.
So leave us a voicemail to be part of the show at
1-888-EARPOD-1 on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Hey, Daydreamer. Did we catch you thinking about your dreams? With Wells Fargo Premier, a team can help you plan for them. So let's imagine your biggest dream. Not the easy one, the one behind it. The one you work towards every day and every night. Can you see it? Then we can help you plan for it. Ready to start planning for your dreams? You can at wellsfargo.com/getpremier.
Free speech lives here. We're Dumb Deer down on weekdays noon till 3 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
7:20, Kayal and Company. It's a Thursday morning. I believe all the technical issues have been resolved. Sean Farish, are you with us, sir?
I think I'm with you. Okay.
All right, beautiful.
You hear me?
I hear you.
Are we good? Yes, there we go. Look at these beautiful people, right? It was Russia and China. That's what happened.
I thought it was Spaces on X.
No, it was the Jews, obviously. Candace is already blaming the tech problems at PHT on the Jews.
Yes. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, so I think we're up and running. You should be able to see everybody on YouTube. You should be able to hear everybody now. If we're still having technical issues because everybody just disappears in July and leaves us for dead, just tweet us, and we'll try to figure it out on our own. 855-839-1210. Let's get to Trump, and let's get to the tariff news. A lot of tariff news.
That sounds like a great idea, by the way.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the last couple of days, I would argue that this would be the biggest story if it wasn't for Epstein and, of course, Kevin O'Connor yesterday. So Trump, let me just give you the quick rundown here. He posted copies of the letters to Truth Social on Monday, starting with South Korea and Japan. Both were hit with 25% tariffs. That is effective August 1st. And then yesterday we had Laos at 40%, Thailand at 36%, Cambodia at 36%, Serbia and Bangladesh at 35%. Indonesia at 32%, South Africa 30%, Malaysia and Tunisia 25%, and then Wednesday you had Libya, Iraq, and Algeria at 30%, and the Philippines will see a tariff of 20%. And of course, the big deadline, August 1st. And, every time we have talked about tariffs and every time tariffs have been in the news, the mainstream media always loves to trot out some economist, or even forget an economist for a moment, just the talking heads on CNN or MSNBC, doom and gloom, Jim Cramer, Jerome Powell sitting there waiting. I'm just going to sit back and wait until Q3 and Q4, and we'll have 2 rate cuts before the end of the year because, we're in a holding pattern. Love that terminology, by the way. I'm in a holding pattern. Here's your holding pattern, pal. Every time the experts have thrown out their opinion on the economy in the first 5 months of this Trump second administration, they've been wrong. They've been wrong on inflation. They've been wrong on the jobs front. And oh, by the way, there's also another economic indicator that screams America first. Have you seen the amount of American-born individuals that have earned a job in 2025? It's up 2 million versus foreign-born down 500 some thousand. That screams America first. I think, and we'll never get it, but the media is going to have a lot of egg on their face, Sean Farish, when we get through all of this tariff trade stuff. By the time Labor Day comes, I think America's going to be looking up and saying, you know what, we racked up a lot of victories. There's a lot of money coming in. And once again, 47 played it, I'm not going to say to perfection, but played it to a victory, and the media is going to take the L here.
Yeah, I'd say he played it well. Okay, I think he played it well, played it very well, the tariffs. And think of this, okay? $300 billion in tariff revenues, the projection is going to be for the following year, for the next year. So $300 billion, it's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money. It's not going to cover the entire deficit, but it's more money than we were bringing in through tariffs, before Donald Trump started implementing it. Not just that, but everybody, including, Jim Cramer, Charles Gasparino, a lot of these, it's going to cause Jay Powell, right, at the Fed, saying, it's going to cause inflation, tariff-driven inflation, et cetera, et cetera. Inflation down to 1.66. Rates are still remaining real high, right? Because he's still fear-mongering and panicking over the tariffs. You would think you would have seen this tariff-driven inflation already. I mean, you hear it on advertisements. You hear it. People, you could avoid the tariffs by coming here, coming there, doing this, doing that. We're tariff-proof. The tariffs have been in place since April 1st. Yes, okay. There was a 90-day pause, but it was never reset back down to zero.
Right.
It was at 10% baseline across the board. So the fact remains, we are tariffing the rest of the world at a higher rate than we were tariffing them when inflation was through the roof, and inflation keeps cooling. Okay, so there is no tariff-driven inflation. I'm sorry, Powell's wrong. Some of these people that were fear-mongering and panicking, going nuts on the mainstream media have been wrong. You mentioned egg on a face. There's a lot of egg on a lot of faces right now. And as you mentioned, coming into September, Labor Day, we're going to be looking at this saying, look at the amount of money that we're bringing into the country. Look at the level of the inflation did not go through the roof. The cost of goods did not go in through the roof like we were told was going to happen. Everyone's going to, like Bernie Sanders, people are going to die, right? None of that's true. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. But they're not going to admit that they were wrong. They'll never admit that they were wrong. These people, never been wrong a day in their life, according to them.
Yeah.
Of course.
I love that he posted on Truth Social and social media the big, beautiful letters to all the countries. He just put the letters.
Nobody writes letters like I do, by the way. I'm one of the greatest. We were going to send them by telegram. Yeah. But we sent them they call it snail mail. We have the fastest snails, by the way. Big, beautiful shells. They're great people and great snails.
Yeah, so to me, I think we've never seen anything like this. And it was underreported, and we can't say that $300 billion enough. That's already, we've seen $100 billion as reported by Scott Bessent during that cabinet meeting.
Yeah.
But everybody wanted to talk about some of the other contentious headlines like the Epstein situation that distracted from some of the good news.
Right.
And so that to me was probably one of the most underreported revelations out of that cabinet meeting from Scott Bessent, that that they expect over $300 billion in revenue from these tariffs, and then combined with everything else, it's fantastic news.
I agree. Speaking of fantastic news, from the economy to the courts we go, and I thought this was great yesterday. Headline from FoxNews.com: Sotomayor breaks with Jackson in Supreme Court decision over Trump cuts to the federal workforce. And they write the following: Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's dissent in a Supreme Court order handed down on Tuesday night stood out enough that it prompted one of her liberal colleagues to voice disagreement with her. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, an appointee of former President Barack Obama, said in a brief concurrence that the High Court's 8-1 order clearing the way for Donald Trump to continue downsizing the government was the right decision. Quote, I agree with Justice Jackson that the president cannot restructure federal agencies in a manner inconsistent with congressional mandates, Sotomayor wrote. Here, however, the relevant executive order directs agencies to plan reorganizations and reductions in force consistent with applicable law. And the resulting joint memorandum from the Office of Management and Budget and Office of Personnel Management reiterates as much. So basically, the takeaway here is the Supreme Court has now ruled 8-1 that Donald Trump has the power to, quote, fire people. And the only one that disagrees is the Joe Biden appointee, which really should not surprise anybody if you think about it. Because if you recall, Ketanji Brown Jackson, a female, a biological female, cannot tell you what a biological female is. I'm not sure how she's a Supreme Court justice. If you're a female and you can't define what being a female is, I don't expect you to be able to interpret things of a higher mental acuity needed to kind of process and analyze at a SCOTUS level things that are very complex, full of legalese. I never thought that any of this DOGE, USAID type stuff, downsizing of the federal government was rocket science, right? We want less red tape. We want less bureaucracy. And oh, by the way, with that, when you downsize it, lower taxes come with it because you don't have to keep funding all of these unelected bureaucrats. Yet KTB, I think is what they call her now, or maybe it's KBJ. I don't know. I lose track of the nicknames these days. She's the only dope holding out. And when Sotomayor and the other female liberal justices are on Trump's side and you're the lone wolf, you look pretty bad. I thought this was a great day yesterday for Trump on the big time level when we talk about SCOTUS. I believe it was Ketanji Brown Jackson, right? Wasn't she the one that basically has been ruling against Trump almost unanimously across the board? You talk about a compromised justice. She's totally a hack.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And the thing, as a woman, I hate to see.
Yeah, by the way, Dawn, can you define what it means to be a woman?
I sure can.
Okay, then you could be on the Supreme Court of the United States.
I don't know about that.
We'll put you on the bench.
Dawn, are you a biologist?
Do you have to be a scientist to know what a woman is? My goodness.
According to Ketanji Brown Jackson, you do. They said, what's a woman? She said, I'm not a biologist. Poster child of DEI.
Goodness. But I think that I'm glad to see this, what you're referencing, Nick, because I started to get worried that you had the newest Supreme Court justice and then Justice Sotomayor, Ketanji, Jackson Brown, and then you had Sonia Sotomayor, and then Elena Kagan. And Kagan used to be someone, because she's known as a great legal mind, that Kagan sometimes would be considered more moderate. And I was concerned for a little bit because I thought, ruh-roh, they're all kind of now they're emboldening each other to go further left. And so I'm glad to see that maybe things are settling down a bit.
Yeah.
And they'll just go back to just doing what they're supposed to do. Look at the law, interpret the law. That's right. And rule on that. So hopefully that's the case. Now, the birthright citizenship case, that's the next one that we're teed up for, which is a huge one.
Yeah. Busy summer for SCOTUS. Also, and this I think is a big story for a lot of reasons. The headline yesterday, the Second Court of Appeals has thrown out the conviction for lack of evidence, and this is in the Douglas Mackey case. A couple of headlines here. This one is courtesy of the New York Daily News. This was interesting. Headline: Election interference conviction of pro-Trump Twitter troll Douglas Mackey overturned. A federal appeals court has overturned the criminal conviction of pro-Trump right-wing Twitter troll Douglas Mackey, who, if you recall, posted fake ads 9 years ago telling Hillary Clinton supporters that they could vote in the 2016 election via text message. First of all, if you think you can vote for the president of the United States via text message and you see something like that and you fall for that, you're a dum-dum. So that's probably a you problem. Mackey was convicted in March 2023 of election interference after a Brooklyn federal court found, after 5 days of deliberation, finding him guilty of conspiracy against rights. But yesterday, a 3-judge Second Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that prosecutors didn't present sufficient evidence that he entered into any sort of conspiracy when he posted several meme images. Memes are those little graphics, little pictures that you can doctor up and put whatever words you want with any picture on social media. For those out there who are not social media savvy, he put these images on Twitter, and that his presence in online chat rooms didn't prove that he was working with others. Sean Ferris, I thought of you immediately when this came out because you have a big social media presence. You do impersonations, you do videos. You are as savvy with X and Rumble and all of these apps and platforms and streaming devices as anybody out there, and you make your living off of it in some regards. You know, to me, it's one thing to post something completely false. You know, we live in this world of terminology like disinformation and misinformation. And to me, I think we have to remind ourselves that there's a big difference when we talk about free speech. You know, as bad as it was under Jack Dorsey with Twitter and censorship and Mark Zuckerberg and Meta and Facebook, those companies, even though I disagree with it, they have the right to flag things, censor things, kick you off. The government does not have the right to strong arm social media as kind of a middleman. And certainly the government does not have the right to step in and say what you're doing on social media violates blah, 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 blah. This was nothing more than parody to me. This was nothing more than being a jackmunch, whatever words you want. I thought it was pretty funny. I never thought it risen to the level of, if I recall the story correctly, he was asleep at 7 a.m. and the feds come knocking on his door and arrest him. And,
of course they did.
And now he's got the official X feed, Doug Mackey case. And if you want to read all of, apparently he's had a lot of legal funding with GoFundMe's. This is a guy, I think, who has really had his rights violated. And it's sad that it had to go all the way to the appellate process years later. But here we are. And finally, I think we're getting vindication in the courts on the level of overreach that the previous administration applied to us, the citizens of America. This is a big victory, I think.
It's one thing when you are on social media and you are intentionally, trying to mislead people regarding an election, right? I mean, if you, like you mentioned at the beginning, you said if anybody was fooled by that meme, and you described memes perfectly, and I always like to say that memes are the new political cartoon, right?
Yeah.
You used to have like the political cartoons in the newspapers to kind of prove a point and send a message to people who are seeing it. Memes are essentially the new thing. There's memes all over the place, but the idea of a meme is that it's a joke, it's funny, it sends a message, and it does it in a unique way. This guy, Doug Mackey, sent this meme out that said, text your vote to Hillary Clinton, etc. That's no different than some of these idiots on the left over the last couple of years saying Republicans vote on Wednesday. We understand that. We understand that is a joke, okay? And if you fall for the joke and you start texting your vote in, or you go to vote on Wednesday, you probably shouldn't have been voting in the first place because you are stupid, okay? I'm sorry. I have no sympathy for somebody who falls for, like, we all know when the Nigerian prince emails you and says you won the lottery, that you didn't win the lottery and you don't give your social security number to the guy who's claiming to be the Nigerian prince, right? So, like, street smarts, okay? There is no reason why this guy should have been thrown in jail or threatened with jail because somebody, quote unquote, fell for a meme, and they're saying this is election interference. That was one of the biggest free speech. And if this had held up, this conviction had held up, would have been one of the worst precedents that this country would have had set with regards to free speech. Because make no mistake, like you said, a social media platform could have taken that down and said, it's misinformation, it's election interference. Fine. Their rules, their sandbox, they could do whatever they want. I don't agree with it, but they could do whatever they want. For the government to have come to this dude's house, woke him up, treated him like a January 6th domestic terrorist kind of thing, right? Where they're making a whole show of this thing. For the government to have done it is egregious. And I am so happy to see him win, not just for Douglas Mackey, who did not deserve to be put through that, but for the First Amendment as a whole, where if you post a joke, what are we, England now? I thought we revolted against. When you post a joke online, and you're now you have the potential to be held criminally responsible for joking, and it's not like he joked about killing somebody, like, oh yeah, we should. He sent the meme. There is no physical way that you could even do that. They're saying, oh, people fell for it and it influenced the election. And he's in New York. I understand it went all over the, but man, this case really, really pissed me off. It got me so upset. And I'm happy that the wrongs were righted legally. Now he's going to sue, I think,
as he should,
and try institution because of what happened.
Remember, he was an original deplorable, and so this was, think about it.
That's right.
Dating all the way back. Remember, he was just canceled out and banned right in October of 2016, right before that election. But then they waited until the Biden administration to go after him in the early 2020s.
Right.
That's like that's like vindictive.
Yeah.
That they were like, we got to get that guy.
I'm almost surprised that it didn't exceed statute of limitations or anything like that.
Goodness.
I mean, he ended up getting 7 months behind bars, although it was he remained free on bail because he was, doing the appeal. So pending the appeal, he was not in prison. But you can read his X account at Doug Mackey Case, and he tweeted the following yesterday. The Second Circuit Court of Appeals has thrown out my conviction for lack of evidence. The case has been remanded to the district court with orders to immediately dismiss. Hallelujah. Praise God. God is good. Now we sue. Unanimous decision in all capital letters by both Republican and Democrat judges. Do you think if this guy was a Democrat and the roles were reversed and he was doing something to throw off Trump voters, do you think he would have had his door basically kicked down at 7 a.m?
There never would have even been a case, let alone a conviction. No chance. And you know what? That's the right thing, right?
Yes.
Here's the thing. I don't want Democrats who are posting memes about Donald Trump, vote Wednesday, text your vote in, election days, action now. I don't want them to be held legally accountable. That's not the country I want to live in.
Right.
Okay. I make jokes on social media. It was a joke, right? Like, that's all it was. And so I believe if he was a Democrat, obviously it wouldn't have even gotten this far, but I wouldn't have even wanted it to start. I don't want to pervert the justice system for my political pleasure so I can get over there and just, laugh about, you made a joke and now you're going to jail. I don't want to live in that country. Come on.
Do you want Stephen Colbert to be prosecuted? Maybe you do start, and I'm being satirical, but the whole question of satire, comedy, op-eds, brings forth the question of who's really responsible. Is it the platform? Because platforms have said, like Facebook or Twitter or X have said, hey, we're the open marketplace. But should somebody who claims their news have a little banner that's visual or even an audio as well that says, this is opinion, this is satire? I think even though they've done the right thing to reverse this, and I'm looking at, the most liberal sites are saying, even though Douglas Mackey is largely unsympathetic, even far left sites that say they don't sympathize,
Mm-hmm.
say that this is a huge win for the First Amendment, but everybody still points out embedded in this is a major question about the rights to free speech when it comes to, satire and some of the new media. And I do think they have to address that.
Yep. 855-839-1210. What's on the cut sheet for a Thursday? We all find out next. Here on Kayal and Company, Sean is in for Stocker. It's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
We got to talk about summertime. It's here, keeping your home cool and efficient. It's paramount, as you know, and that's why I have my guys at Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning out to get our AC unit summer ready, so we're good to go. Take my advice. You want to make sure that your unit is ready and serviced for summer, but if Marvin E. Cans feels that your unit needs to be replaced, they're going to give you an honest assessment at a fair price and install a high-efficiency Trane AC unit, Trane. Hard to stop a train, as they say. Visit my guys at marvinecans.com, Kanze.com. Marvin E. Cans, tell Dawn sent you.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992 today.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or place stop to opt out.
Ugh, why does my bank always charge me fees?
That's because your bank is trash. Ever heard of Current? You could get a paycheck advance up to $750 if you qualify.
Wait, $750? Like before payday?
Exactly. It's your money, just early. Set up an eligible direct deposit. See if you qualify, and that's it.
So what's the catch?
No catch. No overdraft fees. no annual fees, and you can build your credit without falling into debt.
Wow, I needed this like yesterday. What do I do?
Text them. That's it.
To get started with Current, text card to 323232. That's card to 323232.
Banking services provided by Choice Financial Group and or Cross River Bank, both members FDIC. Paycheck Advance provided by Fineco Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Product eligibility, availability, and performance may vary and are subject to change at any time. Using your credit card responsibly may allow you to improve your credit score. For details on cost, terms, and conditions, visit current.com or call 1-888-851-3177.
Come into Tri-County Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram for Employee Pricing Plus, where everyone pays what employees pay. It might as well be Christmas in July. Right now, you can lease a new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Sport 4xE for only $289 a month for 24 months. Or check out a new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn and lease for $459 a month for 42 months. So hurry in. These offers won't last long. Stop into our showroom today or visit us online at TriCountyCDJR.com to see more.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Kayal and Company, 7:47 on a Thursday morning, rolling along. Weekend will be here before you know it. By the way, keep the donations coming, and if you still want to ride in the bike ride coming up Sunday, July 20th, you can still sign up. Use the promo code NICK1210. You'll get $25 off your registration, and you can get in a little training. And I think the squad right now for Team 1210 is 18 or 19 different riders. And we've hit our $15,000 goal, but the donations do not have to stop. GregStockerSucks.com. Greg Stocker sucks in general, but GregStockerSucks.com if you'd like to donate to the Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation. All right, let's see what we have lined up on a Thursday edition of What's on That Glorious Cut Sheet.
What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet on this Thursday? We have all sorts of goodies, from Trump to the continual coverage of the Texas floods, Title IX going through here. Kathy Griffin will be making an appearance today.
Uh-oh.
Rosie O'Donnell's Wednesday Ramble.
Oh, my favorite person.
Rosie did a 6-minute rant from Ireland. We might have to play 90 seconds of it. You know what, though? Let's start with a little bit of fun. And then I want to round back to Trump yesterday with all sorts of leaders from across the globe. And there's a lot of big issues that we'll play for you and talk about. Let me just start with this. I saw this. I don't know how I saw this on X yesterday. Adam Carolla was talking about men who cross their legs when sitting. And he compared Trump and his style versus progressives like Justin Trudeau. This is clip 21, Phil. Hopefully we have censored this. I know there was some cursing in it. Adam Carolla, do all progressive men really cross their legs like this? Roll it.
All progressive guys cross their legs like women. What they do, literally, it's a sign. It's I cross my legs. As I cross my leg, it'll hike up my top leg, pant leg, and it'll expose my colorful sock.
Trudeau.
And then you'll know where I'm at. By
Gavin
the way, you
Newsom.
can watch them all. Watch Gavin Newsom. Watch them all. Watch them how they cross their legs, and then watch how
Obama.
Trump crosses his legs. He doesn't cross his legs. He holds his legs
does
wide
this.
open.
He puts a diamond in front of his.
Right.
He sits like this every time.
So there's Trump with the
his
diamond.
Trump's like spread eagle.
Which accentuates his.
Excuse me.
And
Beautiful
then you have
package.
Justin Trudeau signaling, I have no.
It is
I have
Amazon
no-
Prime Day after all.
I will sit in this position for 4 hours, cut off the circulation of my because I do not have. But I have colorful socks, so you know where I'm at. Ladies, gay community, you know where I stand. Look at my socks and watch me cross my legs like a.
Like a shake.
I got to tell you, I think this is not only a left versus right thing, but this is also a how big you are as a man. And I'm not talking about in that specific region. I have seen a lot of thinner men that will do the female style leg cross. I think once you get to 200 pounds or you start to get a little chunky. Now you can be 200 pounds and 6'4" and look like, a Greek god. But when you're like, like Nick Kayal, 5'9" and a half, 214, it becomes a little more difficult to cross your legs like that. I have never crossed my legs like Justin Trudeau or Gavin Newsom. Now, I don't necessarily always go spread eagle like Trump does, because Trump's got a lot of stroke. Trump can get away with whatever he wants. But I do the occasional, and if you're watching on YouTube, you do the semi-cross where you put like your foot basically across your
He's
quad.
trying to do it.
Right. And
if you're watching on YouTube.
I'm going to pop a hamstring at any moment here, Dawn. But you do the little cross, the semi-cross, right?
Oh, the flip-flops.
I can't
that's the biggest problem that we have is the flip-flops.
See, let me pull the mic over here. See, I can't go full. I can't go full cross because my gut gets in the way and everything else. But the semi-cross is acceptable as a dude. Now, Sean Ferris, you're a thin cat. You could do the full cross, but I know you're not like Justin Trudeau.
No, we don't do the full cross. But I will say that the cross that you're talking about is kind of where you lay the leg. It's horizontally across the plane of the other leg.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Now, what happens in with this? It's like doing this versus doing this. It's definitely a strike against your man card to do the Justin Trudeau kind of, where you're just kind of draping one leg, doing it the way most people, like you were just describing, where you have it like straight across the leg. That would be, I call that like the newspaper. So you're sitting there and you do the whole, right? But you're not. Yeah, the other way is very ladylike, which is why I'm not surprised that Queen Justine Trudeau and some of these people, Macron, that they do that.
Macron.
So what you're describing is like if your legs are kind of like an H or like Jenga, where you're putting your leg,
right?
It's like a full square, so
Correct.
It's not squishing the manhood.
Correct.
Basically, what I'm describing is you're sitting in a chair, your left leg is on the ground. You're flat on the ground. Your right leg now comes over the left leg, and basically like your ankle is essentially on top of your knee.
Yep.
Right. And it's a straight line. What these lady men do is they basically tuck the underside of the right knee over the left knee. And that's what's going on. And absolutely, this is how you know there's nothing there, because it does crush it,
right?
If it's
yes, like for the
to me, I think Justin Trudeau is a biological female because it doesn't hurt him enough.
Well, if you think about the logistics here, so we'll explain this as a man. I'm assuming the females get this, but maybe you don't. There's some things about females that I can't figure out. So when the man tries to do the full Trudeau crossing of the leg right over left, as you think about this visually across your radio dial, as the right quad goes over the line of neutrality and you get to the left side and then you drop it down, in theory, if you have two testicles, the right testicle now has become pinched, squished, smushed.
Exactly.
If you have a, representative size sample right testicle. Now, like John Kruk, former Philly legend, they call him One Nut Kruk. He had testicular cancer. He only has one left. I don't know. Maybe Trudeau's, testicles are like the size of capers and it doesn't bother him.
But in truth, they tell you that it's bad for, and I guess pun intended, but for women even, it's bad for your vein health to cross your legs like you're talking about. It's better and it's more flattering to cross at your ankle,
right?
If you're sitting, like in television, that's where
it's acceptable. If you're a male, you cross at the ankle. You do not cross. You don't drop knee on knee, because now you're dealing with now people have questions. Now it's like, is this guy play for the same team as Buttigieg, for example?
No other radio show is analyzing how politicians cross their legs.
Packer Pete, we call him, by the way.
Exactly
Packer
right.
Pete.
Speaking of Trump and sitting there spread eagle, not crossing his legs, he had a plethora of leaders yesterday at the White House, from Senegal to Liberia on down the list. Phil, let's go to, and by the way, remember we had the big debate yesterday on the show, producer wars, Dan Borowski's labeling of the cuts versus Phil Almquist's request to keep it simple, stupid. it looks like Dan Borowski has lost because he tapped out. He acquiesced to Phil, and the descriptions are very easy today.
Yes.
So Phil Almquist is a happy, happy dude after taking a flamethrower to Dan Borowski in the music bit yesterday at 9:45. Sometimes you have to do that to get people's attention. All right, let's go to clip 3A, Phil. Here was Trump yesterday talking about trade and USAID. Clip 3A.
And trade seems to be a foundation that I've been able to settle a lot of these disputes, like as an example, India and Pakistan, Kosovo, Serbia. I said, you guys are going to fight, we're not going to trade. And we seem to be quite successful in doing that. To that end, we have closed the USAID group to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse, which was tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. And we're working tirelessly to forge new economic opportunities involving both the United States and many African nations. There's great economic potential in Africa, like few other places in many ways. In the long run, this will be far more effective and sustainable and beneficial than anything else that we can be doing together.
I actually want to take USAID, what Trump said, and bring it back to Biden for a moment with the big take and him being completely out of it. There's just no chance in hell that Joe Biden was even remotely aware that our tax dollars were going to third world countries to do research on transgender mice and all the other things that Doge and Big Balls and Elon unearthed and discovered. And I saw a number yesterday, not sure if it's factual, but I'll pass it along. Over 90% of the money never reached its intended destination. So you talk about one of the biggest money laundering operations, Ponzi schemes, scam, whatever you want to call it. I mean, 9 out of $10 that was supposed to go to X never reached X. And I know a lot of people, when we talked about this, Sean, they were, we had people that called in. We had one guy that lost his job. It sucks. I get it. But this notion that, well, I work for the federal government, so I'm untouchable. We're all expendable. I mean, Dawn, myself, Zioli, it doesn't matter what profession you work in, you are replaceable. You can be, and the reality is, and honestly, this is the way it should be. In a merit-based world where you're judged on your performance, you should, in theory, always be potentially on the chopping block. Just because you were great yesterday doesn't give you the right to suck today. And that's the world I live in. And some of these federal employees that lose their mind over being doged or anything like that, I'm sorry, man, that's the way the real world works. We're not guaranteed anything in this lifetime.
That's right. Yeah, you're not guaranteed anything, right? And I think you should always act like your replacement or the potential of being replaced is right around the corner to keep yourself sharp. The USAID stuff about the money. The nation. There was a report not too long ago that apparently, the heads of these NGOs that were having money funded to them by USAID were living lives of luxury, while their intended recipients were dying. Were being just neglected, right? And look at just. That's why people have problem with foreign aid, right? I don't have a problem because I do have a problem that we're helping other people and not helping Americans. But I have an even bigger problem when we find out that we're being guilt tripped to send this money, starving kids somewhere, which I would love to do. But then it's not going to starving kids. And that's where the problem comes. When you look at Trump, though, by the way, talking about Africa, and I just want to say something. I blessed the rains down in Africa. I did a tremendous job. It was like a leprous rising above the Serengeti. And I said to them, and they said, "Sir, it's going to take a lot to drag me away from you." I said, "There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I blessed the rains in Africa. We did a tremendous job. That much I can tell you." We said to him, "Thank you for your attention to this matter," right? We blessed the rains.
All right, let's go. Let's stay on Trump here. 3D, Trump talking about how the Democrats hate our country, and he goes through a couple of the Ivy League situations as well as all of the just absurdities that ICE is dealing with right now because of the rhetoric of unhinged leftists. Clip 3D, Phil.
Two Democratic senators now, Cory Booker and Alex Padilla, have a new bill out. They want to require CBP and ICE officers to have legible IDs, and they don't want CBP or ICE officers covering their faces. Would you ever sign that?
Well, they wouldn't be saying that if they didn't hate our country, and they obviously do. I'm surprised that they would do it, knowing a little bit about them. I don't know them well, but these officers are doing a tremendous job. They're great patriots. If you expose them because of statements like have been made by Democrats and others on the left, usually, mostly, I think probably exclusively, you put them in great danger, tremendous danger. And it's sort of funny when people picket in front of Columbia, in front of Harvard, and they have masks on, more than masks. I mean, you can't see anything. Nobody complains about that. But when a patriot who works for ICE or Border Patrol puts a mask on so that they won't recognize him and his family, so they can lead a little bit of a normal life after having worked so hard and so dangerously, there's a problem with that. So they have this is the problem with the Democrats. They have a lot of bad things going on in their heads. They've really become they've lost their confidence, number one, and they've become somewhat deranged. I want to do whatever's necessary to protect our great law enforcement people, and they are right at the top of the list.
It's amazing. Let's play a little game called Try to Figure Out Liberal Logic, okay? So for masks, they don't work for COVID, yet people still wear them. They do work for concealing your identity, yet they want them removed. They don't want identification to vote, but to be an ICE agent, you need to identify yourself before you try to apprehend a criminal illegal alien. Did I sum up that liberal logic correctly? Because it makes zero sense at all. I feel really bad, Sean Farish, for these ICE agents that are out there, especially the young ones, just on the job, making 50 grand, and they got to deal not only with the bad hombres, but citizens of this country that want to play tough guy.
Yeah, this whole debate over the masks with ICE and all of that it infuriates me, because where were you 5 years ago when they were mandated and people were, when it went from illegal to legal to wear a mask in a bank, right? I mean, it used to be if you wore a mask into a bank, you were like, that guy's going to rob the bank. We're all in trouble. And then it was, if you weren't wearing a mask in the bank, you were then in trouble. So it just infuriates, the hypocrisy, it just infuriates. That's why I say with ICE and the masks and all of this, if they should just use the excuse that they're trying to avoid the next COVID variant. I think that's what they should do. Just play the game. At this point, just play the game, because you look, the reason why they want to unmask these people is to dox them, to hurt them, to bring harm to them. And that's unacceptable, especially from the party that, claimed anyone who hurt police officers and law enforcement on January 6th were terrorists. The fact that they're going down this road is just unbelievable.
Yep. All right. One more on Trump. Let's stay on this topic. Clip 3G, Philip. This is in regards to Trump responding to hearing that an ICE attacker was a prior DACA recipient. And this again goes to the physical harm that ICE agents are putting themselves at risk for. Let's roll this one.
I just got a text from our colleague, John Roberts. He says that we are now reporting the guy who was arrested in the Alvarado, Texas incident for tampering with the evidence was a green card recipient under the Biden administration and a prior DACA recipient. What do you think of that?
It's very sad. It's very bad. A lot of them are here. We came in 21 million. I think it's higher than that, by the way, but they say 21 million people came in. Many of them are criminals. Many of them are murderers. 11,888 is what they say are murderers. And they came in through open border policies, no checking, no vetting, no nothing. And we have a lot of that. And despite that, we have crime down, which is pretty amazing.
I mean, everybody knows that this entire show, this entire station is pro military, pro law enforcement, and we always do things to help out law enforcement. Back the blue. Look, Families Behind the Badge, Children's Foundation, Marissa Fitzgerald, Stephanie Mack, these great, strong, courageous widows. I'll say this: if you put and I'm not talking about the protests where sometimes you impede their ability to get from point A to point B, which you should be dealt with if you do that. But if you physically assault, and when I say assault, I mean just lay a finger on an ICE agent, we should throw the book at these individuals. Yeah. We're in a day and age right now of setting and resetting precedent in the court system, right? All the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States on whether or not Trump has the ability to fire federal workers. Set a precedent in whatever jurisdiction, and let's hope that if in fact this does happen, where an ICE agent is assaulted, I pray that it's in a red state, in a red municipality, and let's throw somebody away for 10, 15 years, whatever the law will allow, to put that out there as a deterrent that if you do this, you're going away for a long time. Does anybody object to that?
No. And to your point, remember the 10 are facing attempted murder charges, but an officer was shot in the neck, had to go to the hospital, is going to survive that, is surviving it, but still they are being charged with attempted murder. Mm-hmm. But it's not just a protest. It shows you how far people are willing to go.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, this is why that Ice Block app, with where they're putting the real-time location. Yeah. Again, people are like, "Oh, it's the government. We deserve to know what they're doing." And I'm like, "Okay, but what are your real intentions, though? Because it's not just about transparency. You're not trying to give immigrants a heads up. You are intentionally revealing their location, so stuff like this happens." And it's not a theory that I have that that's why they're doing it, because stuff like this keeps happening. Rocks are being thrown through windshields in Los Angeles. People are being shot in the neck. It's not one of these situations where, you just want to know where they are so you can hold a sign on a street corner and flip the bird, right? That's not going to hurt anybody. It may hurt somebody's feelings. It's not going to hurt anybody. Look, the only way this stops, and I said this about, you can say this about any crime is if there are severe consequences. The consequences have to be the deterrent. Period. And if you're going to be doxing the location of ICE agents with the intent to harm them, physically harm them, you need to be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Mm-hmm. This is why I support everything that is going on, everything that they're throwing at LaMonica McIver for what she did at Delaney Hall. She assaulted ICE officers on camera. If you don't want that to continue, you need to the fullest extent of the law, hold the offender accountable. Yeah. Period. Right. And if you don't, you're setting the precedent that it's okay. Dog craps on your rug, you give the dog a treat, dog's going to continue to crap on the rug, right? Yeah. That's it. It's that simple.
Yep. Think about it. And Sean, you said you got to fight fire with fire. No longer we're going to fight fight fire with water. Go back to January 6th. I mean, and all of the court cases, the prosecutions, and the imprisonment of individuals, many of which had their rights violated. Some deserved what they got, but I think a majority of them did not deserve what they received. But whether we like the sentencing or not, what happened was there was a precedent that was established, and those in power said, this can never happen again. And if it does, we go back to January 6th, 2021, and those sentencing, guidelines that were handed down, and you now know what you risk if you do that. Well, if we don't set the precedent here on this issue, they're going to continue to do it. So I say, take the same approach they did with the January 6th individuals. Whether or not they had their rights violated or not, we can debate all of that. But, set the precedent, raise the bar so that anybody with a functional brain who might contemplate doing this, and the night before they decide to go out and execute an assault on an ICE officer, they might say, boy, that Bob in Tennessee, he went away for 12 years. I might rethink this.
Mm-hmm. That's the point of consequences. That's the point of severe consequences, right? Because precedent is set on both sides. If somebody does something, clear as day on camera, or attacks a police officer, we see it, and they're not held accountable, you are messaging, you're telegraphing to the rest of the world that, hey, what he did is okay. What that person did is okay.
Yep.
Why is that the message being sent? Because there were no consequences for the behavior, right? And everybody else can, at that point, A, play stupid, and B, in a way, play smart and say, well, my precedent is this happened here, and it was, there were no consequences, so I felt like this wasn't something that was going to be, enforced. Think of it this way. I always say this. If paying your speeding tickets were optional, would anybody pay them? Right?
No.
I wouldn't.
No.
I'm going to say right. I wouldn't. If paying your taxes was optional and you wouldn't go to jail, you have the paychecks garnished, liens placed on your home, would anybody pay their taxes? I wouldn't. Nope. I would not give the government my money. The reason why I do it is because I know that if I don't pay my speeding tickets, it becomes more expensive. I could lose my license. If I don't pay my taxes, there are very harsh consequences. So you're essentially forced into compliance with the law. If there is no consequence for these illegal actions, then the illegal actions are going to continue. It's that simple. And I'm not advocating for anybody's rights to be violated. We're just saying, right, that if you attack a police officer, you need to be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law, or else more people are going to be emboldened to do so.
Yep.
Can you believe we have to even say that?
I know, right?
That's the shocking piece of it.
That's where we're at.
It's nuts.
Yes. All right, Phil, let's move ahead to the fives, if we can. This was a interview with the great Miranda Devine, the New York Post, one of the best reporters, I believe, in the country. Mm-hmm. She sat down for an interview with Susie Wiles. And I actually want to start. Let's go with 5D because we are coming up on Sunday, 1 year removed from the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. This is clip 5D, Miranda Devine, Susie Wiles, talking about what maybe led to Donald Trump surviving this assassination attempt. Roll it.
But it was so close that he could have died and history would have been changed just a millimeter. Do you ever look back at that and think that it was divine intervention?
100%. And I think in a candid moment, he would say so. The way the rally itself unfolded, the chart he had them put up on the screens, on the big LED boards, it was always the last chart in the rotation. And it was always on the other side. So to have him ask for that chart 8 minutes in and to have it come on the side that is opposite caused him, well, it's this way, caused him look in a different direction and lift his head just a little because it was higher. And that just doesn't happen because it happened. Yes. It happened because I believe God wanted him to live.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I'm religious. I don't try to broadcast that or shove it down your throat on radio, but God works in mysterious ways sometimes. And that was an unbelievable, we're talking split second, timing wise, direction wise, the placement of the head could be a totally different outcome. And, it's interesting when you think back to this. We've had so many other stories revolving around this, whether it's Kimberly Cheadle, we've heard the Butler local authorities, the federal authorities. Unfortunately, and look, obviously the headline is the former president of the United States was shot. And then, of course, we get the iconic fist pump and the fight stuff that will go down in the annals of history and history books and lore and images that will last, for eternity. But Corey Comparator lost his life.
Yeah.
And I think it was Fox and Friends, the morning show yesterday, had his widow on. And she is still, and rightfully so, irate over the fact that the Secret Service not only failed, but the amount of red tape or, earlier we reported that the 6 Secret Service agents have now been suspended from 10 to 42 days. But this slow, monotonous process, why does it take 361 days to suspend agents? And we're just finding out about that in the news this morning from Dawn. And Sean, you were taking a nap when he got shot, right?
Yeah, we dropped my friend off at the airport. He was visiting and he was in the air, I think, when this happened. and and I was passed out, and my wife wakes me up. She goes, "You want to be awake for this?" I said, "What?" I was like not happy that I was being woken up. I was, you like your naps, Nick, when you
Damn
nap.
right. Trust
nap.
me. Trust me. The last thing I want is my wife waking me up from the nap.
Right. So she's waking me up, and I knew it had to be important, but I was sitting there going, "Come on, why?" And she's like, "There was a shooting at the Trump rally." And I'm like, "A what?" And she goes, "Yeah, they're calling it an assassination attempt." I said, "That's impossible. Nobody can get a gun in there and get a shot off at the president." I went to Secret Service, and then we watched the thing, and I'm like, "Brennan, is that blood on his face?" And she's like, "Yeah, he got shot." And I was like, "How is he alive?" You know what I mean? And we started watching it, and it was just incredible. It's still unbelievable to this day. And just so tragic what happened to Corey Comparator. Yeah. Really tragic what happened to Corey Comparator. I don't think it's talked about enough. Maybe out of respect for the family, I'm not saying to virtue signal over it and you just got to twist the knife for them. But somebody did die at Butler, and it was a tragedy. Absolutely was a tragedy. And of course the worst case scenario was averted, but Corey Comparator lost his life, and that should not be lost in the story. And for the fact that it took 361 days to suspend people over that, I can't explain it. Yeah. I can't explain it. The whole detail would have been suspended if I was them.
But I think the ultimate person who was responsible was fired. We fired him. We fired Joe Biden. We fired that whole mess. Yeah. And so they allowed the incompetency to happen in not just the Secret Service, but as well the entire country. And I would submit to you, all of us, our national security was put in danger by somebody who clearly was not competent to be the president or his administration.
Yeah. Think about that. I mean, if a 20-year-old can get within 140 yards of, now the president of the United States, who is safe? Who is secure in this lifetime? And also, by the way, just a little side personal note. How ironic is it? Remember, last July 13th, it was a Saturday night, Saturday, July 13th, 2024. We came in here Monday morning. Obviously, the big story, the big take. We talked about it all week long. I was working with my mother-in-law at that football game at Kutztown University in the concession tent, because they own a concession business. My mother-in-law's got stage 4 TDS. She's not Rosie O'Donnell, but she's working her way towards stage 5. And now, on the 1-year commemoration of it, I'm staying at my mother-in-law's house again until I go into my permanent home in Bluebell on August 15th.
Full circle.
Yeah. Proof that God actually hates me.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I maybe it's a blessing in disguise. I think it might be. Yeah. I will say, because at least you are moving into your permanent home, right? Which is a good situation, I think.
Well, what do they say? God gives his toughest test to his toughest soldiers.
That's
He's
right.
Sticking me with my mother-in-law.
There you go. I'll say this again. A year ago, I can't believe it's been a year, but. To Dawn's point, it wasn't just, talk about national security that the president or the former president at the time and future president was shot, but the border, right? I mean, the fact that for 4 years you had this wide open border, and who knows who came in here, right? With what intentions? The administration didn't know because they weren't vetted, right? Mm-hmm. So, we hear about, oh my gosh, we bombed Iran and there's sleeper cells. How'd the sleeper cells get in here, right? Oh, Tren de Aragua, how'd they get in here, right? I mean, that's the real national security threat and it's not just the threat made against the president of the United States or the former president at the time, but the threat has been made against all of us by people who came into this country looking to do us harm, and we don't know where they are and who they are. That's so, correct. We go all the way back to ICE, and should they be allowed to wear masks? ICE should be allowed to wear whatever the hell they want to get those national security threats out of the country. I'm not going to stand in their way. And anybody who is standing in their way deserves to be met with very, very harsh consequences.
That's correct. Speaking of illegals and coming through the southern border, let's go to clip 10, Phil. This is a perfect one for Sean Farish, because this happened in the great state of Tennessee. An illegal immigrant arrested in Tennessee says he doesn't regret crossing the border illegally, and he accepts the punishment for his crime. This happened in Tennessee. Clip 10, roll it.
When Gerardo was picked up in his driveway with ICE spotting him as they drove by. His family says waiting on citizenship in a broken immigration system is a costly and long process, and many immigrants desperate for a better life find a way to get to the U.S. I asked Gerardo if he had any regrets.
So he says his decision is fine with him because the reason why he came to this country was to stay with his wife and his family, and he doesn't regret it.
Now he waits for a court hearing to determine if he will get a bond, and then another hearing to give proof that he should be allowed to remain in the U.S. or sent back to his native Mexico.
He's saying, as far as him accepting that the crime that he did, he understands that, but he knows that he's also, like a lot of Hispanics, we feel like the border crossed us. But he understands that, and he hopes that the judge shows mercy because he is not a criminal.
Edgar is thankful for being able to speak with his dad, but each time they talk, it's tough.
It's hard.
In the little English he can speak, Gerardo spoke of his family.
Thank you so much for my problem, for my family. I don't know, my heart is broken.
Sí, papá. He says his heart is broken.
I believe that was the CBS affiliate in Memphis. Very interesting. Memphis versus Nashville, two totally different setups in many regards. But if you've ever been to Nashville, or if you ever end up going to Nashville, there's a major road. It's called Nolensville Pike. It takes you literally from downtown in the heart of Nashville, where all the honky-tonk bars are, and you can go all the way out until Nolensville, Tennessee, and you will go through a major, major Hispanic section. And there's probably a good chance that there are plenty of illegal aliens in that area. We had a clip a few weeks ago of a guy on Nolensville Pike that was arrested by Tennessee state troopers. I forget what he was charged with other than the fact that he was here illegally. But these are the kind of stories that the left tries to capitalize on, because they're going to sit there and say, oh, he just did it because of his family. He's not a criminal. Well, he's a criminal because he came here illegally. He might not have a rap sheet in his previous country. He might not have committed another crime since the initial crime of coming here illegally. But remember, when Tom Homan ranked the priorities, he said eventually we're going to get down to the lowest level offender, which is just, quote, the normal person that came here illegally. And those people have to be dealt with as well. And I think those are the stories where the left tries to say, oh, is he such a bad guy? He might not be a bad guy, but he still entered a place he was not permitted to cross into. That's a crime.
Look, and from at a human level, right? Am I sympathetic hearing the guy who sounds very sad that he's separated from his family? Of course, on a human level, I look at that and go, okay, I get why. I get it. I get why he's heartbroken right now. I do. However, and I understand the idea that, oh, well, the border crossed us, asylum and escaping, a bad situation in Mexico and coming to the United States for a better situation. But I'm sorry, the excuse of it costs too much. So buying a house costs a lot of money. Buying a car costs, you know what I mean? Like, there are if you can't afford it, you can't have it. Does it suck? It does. Is it ideal situation? And are these ideal circumstances? No. Again, do I feel for them on a human level? People who come across the border illegally trying to find a better life? I do feel for them at a human level. But if you can't afford to go through the process, then you need to wait until you can afford it. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry. I mean, some people look at that and say that's cold, and I say I don't think it's cold at all. I have sympathy for some of these guys. I do, right? In terms of, the family's separated and he just wants to be with his wife. Like, that's a story you can't not feel bad. But my sympathy stops because I know that if I can't afford something, I don't try and buy it, right? Or I work my off to be able to afford that thing that I want. And if that thing that I want is the legal ability and permission to enter a country, then that's just what you have to do, right? Mm-hmm. You can't live beyond your means. And that's what it is, again, unfortunate. It's not a good situation, but there is a way to avoid what happened to him. And it's just, come into the country legally.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
it.
And who likes somebody that jumps ahead of them in line? So one of the issues is there are all of these people who've gone
point.
through everything legally. And all the people, by the way, reporting on all of this, first and foremost, they're not concerned about money because they're high paid people. So number one, they don't feel the economic pain of others who say, why are we paying for all of this to process people, their medical care, whatever's happening, their kids in schools? That's a huge issue. But who likes anybody, whether you're driving, whether you're standing in any line, pick a line, the grocery store, whatever, and take those same people and say, well, you see these folks over here, they're just going to jump in line ahead of you. See how they all react.
Right.
So that's
good point.
One issue.
Yep.
That is just nobody in the media ever talks about it. And number two, this issue that we should pay, you think about Medicaid. And so think about even the birthright citizenship case that SCOTUS has taken. We'll probably know in a matter of weeks. By the end of this month, we'll know a little more. But I mean, you think about the birthright citizenship issue, and that one is that think about somebody who's here in this country illegally, but now they give birth. Not only now is that baby, who's born here going to get is now an American citizen. That's what they're saying, 14th Amendment, et cetera. But as well, the problem is, think about how much it costs you. For anybody who recently has given birth, you know how expensive it is. And so not all of your insurance is going to pay for it. And so think about that. We're paying for, let's say, a minimum $65,000, all of it, and it's Medicaid. Right? That's what's paying for the babies to be born in this country, and mothers who've come here to have the baby, free, that you're paying for that, America. And number two, that now that baby, no matter what the financial situation, we're paying to clothe, feed, all the medical costs, and to educate the child. And at some point, is that fair? Is that fair to you? To pay for that? No, it's not fair.
That's right, Don. We will continue with the cut sheet on the other side. Before we take the break, though, I want to get to these phone calls. If you want to jump in, 855-839-1210. Let me go to line 2 first. Charlie is in Philadelphia. He's got some thoughts on the assaults of ICE officers. Charlie, you're on Kayal and Company. Charlie. I want Charles in charge. All right. Charlie, he's not
Hello,
there.
Charles.
Hey, Charlie, there we go.
Yeah, I walked away to pour some coffee. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm going to go get coffee as well. Go ahead.
You're talking about this ICE and repercussions for attacking an ICE officer, which I believe is a federal agent of some kind. I know a guy that was at a bar fight and assaulted a New Jersey policeman, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. And I don't know whatever happened with him because I lost touch with him, but I know because we're talking to him here and talking to people, he was sweating out. He was looking at 5 years for punching a cop in the face in Jersey.
Was this an on-duty, in-uniform officer?
Yeah, he came to a call. There was a breaking of a bar fight or something.
Got it. Yeah, and that was...
And he punched him in the head, and he was really sweating it out. And he had a lot of connections, too. We're trying to, get him out of it, but it didn't look good. I know that. And they said, hey, man, that's the law. It's like 5... Yeah, you pull a gun or something on a cop, it's an automatic 10 years, I think. You punch one, it's like 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you would imagine that it would be even stiffer when we talk about the federal agents, right?
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand, too, about these George Floyd riots. People hitting cops with bottles and stuff and nothing happening to them. You know what I mean?
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You're not enforcing the law.
No, that's not protesting either. Appreciate the call, Charlie. Real quickly, it's been a while. Let's grab our buddy Ed. He's in Delran. Ed, you're on Talk Radio 1210. What's up, Edward? Edward?
I think we're having phone problems.
Is Ed pouring a cup of coffee as well? Is Ed working on his eggs? Is he cooking grits right now? Are those magic grits? Do the laws of physics
I could go for some grits right now.
cease to exist on Ed's stovetop? Ed's not there. All right, Ed, give us a try back. 855-839-1210. We will continue with the cut sheet on the other side, but first a word from our friends at Piazza Acura because we have exciting news. Hello, whoever just checked in. Piazza Auto Group and Acura just named America's Best Value Luxury Brand in Kelley Blue Book's 2025 Consumer Choice Awards. That means, well, it means a lot of things. First of all, top performance, cutting-edge technology, and of course, Acura's unmistakable style, all with long-term value that you can trust. And I can speak to this firsthand. Before I got my Honda Ridgeline, I traded in my 11-year-old Acura ILX. It had 206,000 miles on it in 11 years. I got $4,000 for it. The value is incredible. These vehicles maintain their value. From the sporty Integra to the all-new ADX, Acura delivers more for your drive and, of course, for your dollar. Visit Piazza Acura in Ardmore, Reading, or Westchester, and you can shop online right now for special offers at piazzaacura.com.
Hey, we got to talk about your kitchen, because at Kitchen Magic, they've been transforming kitchens since 1979. Proudly American-made, locally made, family-owned, and 100% tariff-proof. What does it mean? It means no international delays, no surprise fees. Take advantage. Do this of their 24-month same-as-cash financing. Do this now. It's time to love your kitchen again. Just visit them, kitchenmagic.com. You can always call them, 1-800-237-0799. That's 800-237-0799. Kitchen Magic, quality that's closer to home. KitchenMagic.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992 today.
Okay, so the quantum network protocol is optimized, the microservices are containerized, and I just ran a multi-threaded diagnostic.
Yeah, that was a lot of words. So my email won't keep crashing anymore, right?
Only if you try to send an attachment larger than 2 petabytes, but no promises.
Gilbert, did you just use petabytes in a sentence?
I know, right?
Hey, IT twins, is it fixed or what?
That's what we just said.
CompuTrex. All that matters is we know what we're talking about. IT for your small business. You want to talk? We're here. More at CompuTrex.u.com.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. So I have a great idea for your next office party, bachelorette party, or a private party. Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glassboro, New Jersey. That's right. See, Bob's offers both men and women trained instructors, private and closed events that can host up to 30, smaller groups 10 or less during business hours, and you can have your own instructor for some shooting range fun. Just call Bob's for pricing and details. Of course, no alcohol or drugs permitted on premises. Bob's also offers private and group lessons on introduction to firearms, shooting, and cleaning classes as well. Let Bob's be your go-to place for all things firearms. Bob's instructors are certified NRA and range safety officers. Firearms ID cards are not required for anyone attending events, and no previous experience is necessary. Bob's also hosts women and co-ed shooting events throughout the year for new shooters or anyone interested in learning about proper firearms ownership. Go to bobsautosportshop.com. This ad sponsored by Bob's Auto Sports Shop.
Comedian Joe Conklin. Hi, this is Dom Giordano. The Joe Conklin event, if you have a chance, with the City Rhythm Orchestra, wow. That's Philadelphia. That's Philadelphia sports. Just the number of cues, the number of voices, the number of songs. An incredible night. And the Conklin family, just amazed how many of them perform. See Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra at Wildwood High School Friday, July 11th, and the Ocean City Music Pier Saturday, July 12th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Yeah, 8:37. It is Kayal and Company live on a Thursday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Watch us on YouTube. Get us on the free Odyssey and iHeartRadio apps. 855-839-1210 if you want to jump in. We'll continue with the cut sheet coming up in just a moment. But a man is joining us in box number 4 who once famously said,
"It burns his old droopy nuts."
And that is the great Jimmy Faila, who is back with us here on Kayal and Company. You hear him weeknights at 7 on Talk Radio 1210, the host of Fox Across America and his great TV show on Saturday nights. Jimmy Faila, how you doing, buddy?
I was doing great till you assumed my gender.
My fault. You know what? I'm going to go down to HR when the show is over at 10:02 this morning, sir.
Yeah, I'm not well now, but can I just take a sidebar and say hello to Sean?
Yes.
Hi, Jimmy. What up, my man? How are you?
So this is weird because we obviously know each other through Twitter, but we've never met in person. So this is like a low-budget Sleepless in Seattle.
Yes.
we couldn't afford the top of the Empire State Building. We're like, we'll do Nick's radio show instead. Sorry, Tom Hanks.
Yep. But budget constraints. Sometimes you just have to suck it up and do it this way. And Jimmy is with us for a big reason, for two big reasons. First of all, Saturday, August 9th, and we've talked about this before, he's coming back to the area, Soul Joel's in Pottstown, Saturday, August 9th. Get your tickets for that. I'll be out there. It's going to be a great time. We're going to drink afterwards, and Jimmy and I will probably get arrested for public intoxication, but that's okay. But also, big announcement, starting next Thursday at 8:30, Jimmy Faila will be with us each and every Thursday at 8:30 a.m. for some cut sheet tomfoolery and hijinks. So I'm excited to have you in, Jimmy, because you are one of the funniest guys in the business. And, oh, by the way, very good at what you do politically.
Well, thank you. But if you keep complimenting me like this, I'm going to have to give my drug dealer a raise.
Wow.
So if you could tone it down. That guy's making bank over at Port Authority right now. But yes, I'll be here every Thursday. I love chopping it up, man. Like for me, like this is really my natural habitat, like morning radio. I was driving around in a cab listening to other people. And the spontaneity of cab driving is morning radio, just the same. So when you weren't listening to the show, you were hosting one because someone would just get in and dump a hot take all over your back seat. and then you just had to interact with it, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, like, I'm a lot more excited about this than you are. I think I joked to you guys once that I'm like a stray cat that you fed once that'll never go away. Like, I'm here, dude. So, you know, if you want me to leave, you better invest in a laser pointer. Otherwise, we're doing this.
All right, sounds good. I want to play 2 clips for you before we get you out of here. I know you're a busy guy. The cut sheet, very interesting from a comedian perspective because you're one of the funniest dudes. Your shows are phenomenal. Again, Soul Joel's Pottstown, August 9th, when he comes back here to Montgomery County. This is actually perfect timing to have you on. Phil, let's go to clip 18. Kathy Griffin thinks she's funny, but she's also now joining the Election Deniers Club. I want to play this for Jimmy Faila and everybody else. Clip 18, Kathy Griffin now saying that Republicans rig elections. Let's play this.
People think I'm tinfoil hat because I don't think he wanted a free and fair election this time. No, I'm going to take a hit for that, and I understand, but that's just my humble opinion. I don't trust the Elon connection. I have my suspicions, and yet, at the tender age of 64, I never thought I would say something, and I know that sounds crazy, but I just had to put that out there because I can't resist getting in trouble.
Well, you know, there's a wave of people who agree with you. A wave.
That's why I'm sort of saying it out loud now because look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But something about him winning every swing state, all 7.
You're getting a lot of agreement.
It's going to the Democrats. Something about it doesn't sit right with me, but I also don't know if we'll really find out anything in my lifetime. I don't know.
Very interesting, Jimmy. The tender age of 64, which also is the same age of my mother-in-law, that's where TDS stage 4 typically morphs into TDS stage 5, which, as we know, is the final stage.
Yeah, well, but to clarify, she's 64, but her face is 12.
Frozen.
It isn't when there's no filter, though.
No.
Oh, I know. Isn't it bad? Don't you know, Sean, do you remember when she beheaded Trump on Twitter like 10 years ago, whatever the hell it was? And, you know, I always felt like the TV network should have blurted out her face. I can make do with the spirit of Halloween Trump head, you know, but the Kathy face, like, if you saw it at 6 a.m, you were like, God, like, what's going on here?
There was a picture of her recently where she was like turning blue. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, apparently she's not affording the good plastic surgeons anymore. She's going to those guys that do the Brazilian butt lifts in the living room. You know, there's this obvious, you know, hypocrisy take here on them and election denialism and everything like that. But every time this stuff comes up in terms of legitimate elections now, I am done. Like, I've kind of measured my tongue on stolen elections. Let's go back to 81 million votes for Joe Biden for a second.
Right.
I talked about this yesterday on my show for like an hour, and everybody was like, are you okay? I was like, no, I'm not okay. Looking back on all we know now, how is he 16 million votes more popular than Obama? And liberals aren't asking the question of what in the wide world of sports is going on.
Nope. No, you're exactly right. Exactly
Kathy
right.
Griffin's her own situation, but I get it. That's insanity.
Yeah, and with E. Jean Carroll there looking all crazy, the both of them.
Is that who that was?
Yes, that was E. Jean Carroll.
No, was it really?
Sure looked like.
Wait
her.
a second. That was
you guys.
Phil,
that was E. Jean Carroll.
Phil, throw
I thought
18
it
back
was.
up there in the box. And
or her doppelganger or hanger or whatever.
Everybody has a podcast these days. Is that her?
Look at
People think I'm tinfoil.
Look at her.
I can't tell. Is that?
Guys,
that's
who is it?
Carroll?
I don't know.
I mean, looks exactly like her. I was looking. I was like, oh my goodness.
I thought maybe Florence Henderson.
Who is it then?
She's got a Substack logo. Well, what is DMN? Is that maybe someone's initials?
I don't know. I thought it was E. Jean Carroll. It looks like it's like a dead ringer for her.
Oh my God.
Wait, let me screenshot. I'm gonna screenshot this.
That's E. Jean Carroll.
We need to grok that.
That's E. Jean Carroll.
Let's Photoshop a screenshot and grok that sucker.
Like Pete Carroll. What is going on?
Oh my!
We're gonna put this into AI and find out who these two people are.
Yes,
real quick.
we need to. All right, let's go to clip 35, Phil. If Kathy Griffin is 64 with a 12-year-old's face, Rosie O'Donnell is 63 with the face of Mike Francesa while we're talking sports at it.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, and Farish and Faila, you both know this as sports guys, as New Yorkers. I don't know, is Rosie more Keith Olbermann visually or Mike Francesa?
She's Francesa all day long. That woman, she looks like the sports pulp. Okay, get lost.
Back
Get
after
lost.
this.
Back after this. Here's the Mink Man. All right, clip 35. Rosie's in Ireland, but she can't quit Trump. Roll it.
Okay, so I know a lot of horrible things are going down in the U.S. I know a lot of people are upset when I talk about them and the disastrous policies of POTUS. I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot. I get it. But we all have to do what we can and what we think we can. So, again, people, if I annoy you, block, baby, block. Use the button.
Yeah.
Use the button. That's what it's for,
Mute me.
But maybe you're here for another reason. Maybe you want to stick around and see what's going down. I don't know. Very difficult to be an American, even in Ireland right now. I'm very proud of everybody standing up to fascism. This is the United States of America.
All right, we can bail out of this. This goes on for another 4 minutes and 27 seconds. I actually think Jimmy Faila at this point, if she continues to do this on a daily basis on TikTok or Instagram or wherever else she dishes out her mental health issues, we could do like a daily segment called Rosie's Ramble.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And there's this part of me that finds her wildly entertaining. But I have family in Ireland, and I feel bad that she moved there because the last thing they need is another potato shortage. But she's nuts. I mean, and the thing is, and you guys know this, they didn't move away to get away from Trump. They moved away because that was a way to get more attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like she comments every day. That's the same video where she said, listen, I know some of you don't get me. I'm like blue cheese. I'm an acquired taste. And I believe she meant to say, I like blue cheese. But the point is, there's no value in anything she's doing other than catering to like-minded idiots who are living in their own manufactured hysteria. Like when she says it's hard to be an American. Why? Because the streets are now safer and the economy's better? What's making it harder other than your cosplay resistance?
Yes.
Because when you invoke fascism, as you know, Sean, okay, if this was real fascism, you wouldn't be saying a word. Number one, you wouldn't be allowed to. Number two, you wouldn't want to because it wouldn't end good for you. So it's all pretend. And it's like there's this part of me, again, we make fun of it, but I get value out of this because I spent most of my life as like a community college grad saying like my people were the dumb ones. But the elites have actually taken the mantle of stupid. And like the common sense people are now the smarter people. It's really weird that went on.
It really is. Sean,
First of all, I want to say something. I just want to say something real quick, okay? Because Rosie, you mentioned the potato famine. I spoke to the Prime Minister of Ireland. They said, sir, she's going to eat us out of house and home, and they want to send her back. I said, if you send her back, we're tariffing every single pound. That's 5,000% tariffs, okay? You're not going to want to do that. Number two, the verdict is in. That was E. Jean Carroll.
No.
Okay.
I sent you guys the proof.
Good call. Stenslin nailed it. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's
That was
true.
Eugene Carroll.
It's true. Everybody gets a podcast these days.
Yeah.
That looked like E. Jean Siskel. And Kathy was Ebert, I guess. I don't know.
Siskel. Jimmy Faila, he will be with us every Thursday, starting next Thursday, July 17th, 8:30 a.m. And, of course, Saturday, August 9th. Get tickets now. He'll be at Soul Joel's in Pottstown. Great show, a great time. Stick around. We're going to have drinks. It'll be a good show. Looking forward to it. Great stuff, Jimmy. We always appreciate the time.
All right, miss you already. Bye, friends. Bye, Sean. Bye, Donnie. Bye, Nick.
Bye, Jimmy. Love you, man.
See you, Jimmy.
See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
There he is.
The best.
Jimmy Faila. It's
So
really
funny.
it's really remarkable too. He's so hilarious. I mean, you talk about some of the funniest people right now. And I'm not just saying this because of Faila and Farish both being here, but the funny is on the right now. It's really remarkable.
Good point.
It is.
Whether it's Sean Farish with an impersonation, Jimmy Faila's Saturday night show, Greg Gutfeld on Monday through Friday is now the king of late night comedy. He's crushing Fallon. He's crushing Colbert. He's crushing Seth Meyers. Who else has got a low energy mainstream comedy show that
Kimmel.
nobody wants? Kimmel. I mean, these guys are bringing out their wives to lecture you on abortion. I mean, it's
That
almost
sounds funny.
It's almost like, with all due respect to Gutfeld, if you can't beat these buffoons by simply just telling jokes and not making it super political, it's not. I actually don't even think it's that hard to beat Jimmy Fallon anymore. Show stinks. He's almost number one by default, with all due respect to Gutfeld, who is funny. But I mean, when these guys are just constantly bashing in an unfunny fashion, 50% in theory of America, is it any wonder that their ratings are where they are?
No.
Nope.
It's sad, though.
Nope. And by the way, too, Faila made a great point on the hysteria. That's what this is really about. This isn't really fascism. It's manufactured hysteria. It's the Democrats and the mainstream media. If you didn't listen to legacy media, or you didn't get a soundbite of Hakeem Jeffries, Jasmine Crockett, Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders, whatever, and you just walked outside, you would not know that you live in a fascist country, right? I'm saying that in air quotes. But if you listen to these people, you would think that the world is burning down and we elected somebody the equivalent of Adolf Hitler to be the president of the United States.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also think that what they're really they come off, like you're saying, angry. So they're not funny. They're just these angry, cray-cray people. And I think that what they're angry about is that we Trump, they've been exposed. And so now they're mad.
Mm-hmm.
They're mad that everybody knows that this was all a lie. They were trying to play us, and for a while played some of us to make us feel like, well, don't be mean and be kind and this and that. And so now we're like, nah, we're done with you.
Yep.
We've had it. We're over it.
Because they're not nice.
Right.
I mean, they want to be the party of tolerance, but they're not tolerant.
Yeah.
And especially on their own, on their side, you step out of line and they start whipping you. I mean, it's bad.
Mm-hmm. Let's wrap up the 8 o'clock hour on a positive note. We've had to deal with so much demoralization and demonizing of police. We've had to talk about tragedies locally with officers losing their lives to punks. We've had to deal with and talk about ICE agents being assaulted. And we never get to hear about all the good that law enforcement does. Mm-hmm. Phil, let's go to clip 16. We'll stay down in the Southeast as Georgia police officers saved 2 toddlers that were roasting in a car that reached an internal temperature, get ready for this one, of 117 degrees. If it's a dog, it's probably dead, honestly. Clip 16. Let's listen and watch what these Georgia heroes were able to pull off.
Oh, you're hot.
Cobb County.
We just came out of the Dix and I heard kids crying.
They're little children. It's a little boy and a little girl.
Approximately how old?
They look like they're maybe they're locked in the car. The little boy. Hi, honey. It's okay. Hi, you're okay. You're okay. The little girl looks maybe about a year, and the little boy looks maybe about 2.
This is body cam footage.
It's not running. Let's break it. Let's break it. Use it fast. It's not. Yeah, I got it. You want me to break or you got it? Hey, kitties. Hey.
Abandoned car and looks like a mall parking lot. 2 kids in the back seat.
It's okay. Hey.
First of all, not even in car seats.
It's okay.
But
strapped.
But strapped with seatbelt.
In the seatbelt in the back.
They are.
And the kids are kind of lifeless a little bit.
Okay.
Looks like a Dick's and Staples. Yep.
Yeah, we got somebody check them out. Find some AC. It's okay.
Children are African American. Officers are African American. And looks like
12:24 they entered.
Civilians that are white alerted the authorities to this.
Okay.
How about that?
And thank God for the lady who called.
Yeah, right?
She saved their lives.
Yes. 117 degrees on the inside. Cobb County is one county over from Fulton County, which is Atlanta, Georgia. So this is just on the outskirts, outside of the perimeter, I believe, of I-75 in Georgia. I mean, those kids, I don't know, 30 minutes later, they might have died.
I just can't understand how that happens.
Right.
Dad is on. They were with Dad. Dad ran into the Dick's Sporting Goods at that mall, and so they've now arrested and they're charging Dad.
Good. Why can't you just take your kid? I mean, you don't. First of all, again, they're not even in a car. I would think, Dawn, am I out of line by saying that they should be in car seats at that age, based on what you saw visually with their size?
Oh, absolutely. They should have been in car
Right.
seats. Yeah, they were. We know the ages. They were both like what, 18 months and
18.
2.
Okay, so then it's absolutely car
They're
seat
little
age.
kids.
Yeah, these are not 7 and 8 year olds.
So the 27-year-old dad is under arrest. He's charged. We haven't heard from the mom. The children, by the way, they were checked. They were taken to the hospital, but thank God they're okay and have been released to the mom.
Unbelievable.
So
18 months, not even in a car seat. Dawn kept David in a car seat till he was 18.
He's 6'3.5". He's like, Mom,
It's a big car seat, Dawn.
No, but the thing I will say, I'm kind of surprised that the 911 operator in that heat did not say, go ahead and break the window. Because, I would have already crowbarred the windshield.
Sure.
So I am kind of, I guess, because the children were reacting to the lady.
Yeah.
Maybe they were afraid of like flying glass or something.
Sure.
But remember, we had this discussion that that in some municipalities, if you break somebody's window in the past, you could face being in trouble,
Even though you're doing a good Samaritan deed.
right? So some people fear that like you have to get the permission from the police,
Right.
But I'm kind of surprised. I would have said to the lady, "Hey, it is hot out here. These kids are becoming a little like you saw the arms, like just the kids were not embracing the officers. The kids, their arms and legs were kind of just, I'll say, like floppy. Even though the kids were responsive, they were to the point where you would be concerned. They weren't normally kids at that age are very energetic.
Sure.
And they were, suffering from that heat,
Oh, no
exhaustion.
question.
You could see it.
Yep.
So I would have been like, "Am I allowed to break this window? Because I got the crowbar."
Right. Crowbars
Right.
up. All right. We will stay in the Southeast when we come back with more of the cut sheet. Wait until you see this video where a quaint Alabama town was rocked by a local gossip queen's outburst at a public gathering. We're going to play you that. And then in just about 12 minutes, it's Fight Club, the aquatic edition, because fights equal ratings.
I'm Todd and Tucky of TNT Amusements in Southampton, Bucks County, and we sell real pinball machines and arcade video games like Pac-Man for your home. Your home. Imagine the fun your family can have. You can even rent our maze-like showrooms for an arcade party. So, check out our website, tntamusements.com, or just Google us. TNT Amusements.
It's time to cut your old point of sale system and revolutionize your business with PDQ POS. Joe Flynn and his team at PDQ have been the industry leader for over 35 years. They offer everything from mobile POS to self-service kiosks and the best service and support in the industry. For the fastest, easiest, and most reliable POS available, trust PDQ POS. No matter how many locations you have, they'll build a custom solution for your business. Visit pdqpos.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/radio. That's leaffilter.com/radio.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
At Crash Proof Retirement, we understand that out of all the threats to your retirement future, your health is the greatest. That's why our firm offers unique asset-based long-term care strategies to provide financial stability to our clients, like Donna McMacken.
70% of people will one day need long-term care. I went through this with my mother. I had to liquidate all of her assets and sell her house, and I don't want that for me. Should the need arrive, the long-term care policy that I have through Crash Proof covers $9,000 per month in care. Should I be fortunate and not have to use that, it goes to my beneficiaries. I've been with Crash Proof since 2013, and still I've never paid them a fee.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Springfield Country Club, July 22nd, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com.
Tom Giordano at noon. Kayal and Company now on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
9:05, Kayal and Company, fourth and final hour, off and rolling here on a Thursday morning. Still a ton to get to. Fight Club in about 5 minutes. A big three coming up from Dawn in about 15. And then, of course, we'll get to more of the cuts, as well as what's on tap for the Dawn Show, what occurred today in music history, and Jimmy Kelly's Morning Mystery Movie clip for another pair of Rod Stewart tickets. And in case you missed it, announcement this morning, starting next Thursday at 8:30, Jimmy Faila will join us each and every Thursday. So we are looking forward to that. All right, Sean Farish has roof obligations to tend to. So Farish, we'll let you roll on out of here. We appreciate you. As always, we'll talk with you again tomorrow, buddy.
We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, guys.
All right, brother.
I'll
Go
look
take
for
care.
any tuna heists.
Yes, tuna
Just for
heists.
you.
Yes.
Very good.
All right, there he is, Sean Farish. Got a new roof on his house, and of course, yesterday, a lot of rain. Great timing, by the way,
Yeah.
right? When will the rain stop? I've had enough of it. All right, we've got a couple of clips to get to before we get to Fight Club. Let's continue here. This is what I teased before the last break. We'll stay down in the southeast. Clip 12, Phil, where a quaint Alabama town was rocked by a local gossip queen and her outburst at a public meeting. This could very much be a mental health breakdown recorded in the great state of Alabama. Let's go to clip 12.
But I want to thank the council, all of y'all. Thank you for being dysfunctional. It forced me to educate myself. I wanted to be able to understand what was supposed to happen, what was happening, and address my concerns in an intelligent manner. So I had to go to the books. And I learned more from you guys than I ever did in any civics class ever. Because of you, I'm going to read this off, I have read the entire municipal code for Tarrant City multiple times. Most of the Alabama state constitution, and oh my God, that girl is long. The handbook for mayors and councils published by the Alabama League of Municipalities, the selected readings for the municipal officers, also from the Alabama municipalities, a bunch of Supreme Court readings, court filings, ethic publications, and in honor of Mr. Bryant, Robert's Rules of Parliamentary Procedure. Read all of that and educated myself.
Parliamentary
So
procedure.
I just wanted to thank you, because I never would have learned any of this stuff if y'all had learned to work together and work as one. So now, you won't have to deal with me. I know you're happy to say that. So I'm going to end with a quote from our mayor, who's been made famous in a few court filings.
Whoa! She's just flipping the bird. Wow. Flipping the bird everywhere while she holds her Stanley, her big jug of water.
Yeah, you know what? The one gentleman on the board laughed.
Yeah.
And I probably would have too.
You know, I got to tell you, I don't really have any negative comments for her. I mean, I think she feels, now I don't know what the context of that assembly, that public gathering was. I don't know political allegiances. I don't know what the issue at hand is. But is that not how we feel about many of our elected leaders, where we feel like these people are just stealing our money and wasting our time? No, I would have maybe held off on the F-bomb and the flipping the bird there towards the end. But then again, I also wouldn't have a Stanley, a leg tattoo, and be wearing jean shorts. Jean shorts. Remember those days?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I will say this. You pointed out she's holding a big Stanley, like the stainless steel. And she's not behind a podium or anything. In all of these council meetings,
Safety.
I would just say,
Security.
maybe not. You never know. People are,
Yeah, as much as I dislike some of
cray-cray.
these politicians, that's a little too close for comfort, right?
Yeah.
And that Stanley goes flying across the room, hits you in the head, you're going to be down for the count. All right, I'm actually really, really heartbroken that Sean had to leave because this was going to be perfect for him. And as Dawn would say, technically, local story. Nesquehoning, Pennsylvania we go. Clip 31. By the way, trying to play some of the more funny stuff that we have on the cut sheet as we come down the stretch here. We've had a lot of heavy topics this week, a lot of heavy conversation, Jeffrey Epstein, things like that. Clip 31. Police in Nesquehoning, Pennsylvania say they're looking for 4 people who were caught on camera stealing a Ronald McDonald statue from a Mickey D's. Clip 31. Roll it.
It's being called a full-blown McNabbing. 4 people were caught on camera messing around
Look
in
at
a
that.
Northeast Pennsylvania McDonald's. Then they took off with a beloved Ronald McDonald statue. The manager says it happened while workers were in the kitchen.
He was kidnapped, and we would like to have him back.
She adds these statues aren't made anymore, so it has special meaning to everyone
Yeah,
who works there.
the old
Police
school.
say, quote, we're not clowning around, asking the culprits or the community to return Ronald, adding that stealing a plastic icon of joy is a McFelony.
A real life Hamburglar American.
Donald Trump's going to be very fired up when he finds out that Ronald McDonald was stolen. By the way, Phil, if we, I would have loved to have Sean for just one more second. Phil, if you can we scroll back to where there's about 13 seconds left in the video, right where you see a little bit further. No, keep going this way. 13 seconds left. About roll it, and then I'll tell you when to stop it. Let's see here.
Special meaning to everyone
there.
who works
Freeze
there.
Right, yeah. Freeze her right
Police say,
there.
quote, we're not
Put her in the
clowning-
box. Bring it back just a little bit. I want to see the fat chick. I want to see the fat chick here.
The redheaded chick.
Has special meaning
sure.
to
Right there. Look
everyone-
at this. Cut off shirt. Below the waist. I'm seeing belly. I'm seeing, I don't know, Dawn, can I say, I'm seeing pouch. I'm seeing, it looks like a fanny pack. Again, jean shorts. And again, if you roll the end of the video, even without the sound, we've got multiple big boned women, probably running for the first time in years. I would suggest more cardio. That's just me. And look, I take shots at myself. I'm not doing enough cardio myself. And we've got them running off on security footage with them. And there goes another one. Look at these deranged people. This is Nesquehoning. I need to know how close is Nesquehoning to Butler, Pennsylvania? What's going on is Nesquehoning like central Pennsylvania? A lot of central Pennsylvania is like Arkansas. You ever notice that?
You know what I will say though? It's like if you look at the video, if you're watching us on YouTube, to your point about the descriptions, I mean, this is very clear, crisp surveillance video. If you know these kids in that area, and they look like teenagers to me, so it's very distinctive. You've got a redheaded, looks like a natural ginger redheaded girl with glasses. They're all white kids. I mean, if you live in that area, you know who that is.
Sure.
You're like, oh, that's Johnny and Susie down there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they also got their vehicle, which I think is a black Nissan, the license plate. Like, they have everything on them. How are they not even under arrest right now?
Don't be messing with Ronald McDonald. The throwback statue, that's old school. Remember the old McDonald's Playhouse that you go there and they have the ball pit?
Oh, yeah.
Those
Well,
were the
they still
glory
have
days.
some of those.
Do they still have those?
They still have some of them across the country.
I haven't seen them in operation in a while. If anybody can identify one, let me know.
But I love all the hokey news, the newscasters in smaller markets, and they're like, oh, a pair of hamburglers. They've got the little.
Yeah. It's very low hanging fruit,
I
right?
know, right?
You're not winning Emmy Awards with that type of stuff. They all aspire to be Dawn, and they're not going to get there. They're not going to end up major market. Sorry. Some of us are relegated to, market 112. 855-839-1210. All right. It's well past 9:10. It's actually 9:14, but that still means Fight Club.
Uh-oh.
Kayal and Company Fight Club.
You're looking for a fight.
I am looking for a fight.
Fights will go on as long as they have to.
We know fights equal ratings.
You got knocked the out, man.
Kayal and Company Fight Club is sponsored by Tri-County Auto Group. 3 locations, 1 priority, you. Visit tricounty.com. WPHT.com.
All right, it's been a very eventful week on Fight Club. Monday, we had two grandmothers going at it. Wednesday, yesterday, we had the golf course brawl with a former NHL enforcer jacking up a slow-playing group ahead of them on a tee box in Canada where he tossed the guy who got mouthy with him into a pond or a creek. And today, we now have what looks like this is almost Dorney Park, Hershey Park-esque, one of those big, massive wave pools, which I am completely against. I mean, if you think of all the awful places that you could swim in any sort of pool, the most disgusting place would have to be one of these massive wave pools with, 275 people, being bussed in from New York. If you're going to Dorney Park, you ever notice that all the New Yorkers come to Dorney Park in Allentown, and it just turns into an unmitigated disaster. I refuse to go to Dorney Park unless they sponsor us. All right, so let's roll the footage. This is a fight in the very shallow kiddie section of, I believe, what is the entry point to the wave pool. Roll it, Phil.
Right now, shut your mouth. Wait for the people in front.
Look at this. Oh, this is a straight-up boxing match.
Oh, my God, you're all whiny.
Yep.
For no reason.
Somebody got dropped. He's underwater, too.
Get up when you want to.
Oh, now we have another fight going on.
Just a camera.
Is that a kid being hooked?
Just deal with it, people. My God. Why don't you
All right, I want to roll this again if we can.
What the heck is it? So Nick,
All
you
right,
got to do
I
play-by-play.
All right, I got audio playing but no video. I don't need any audio this time. Let's just replay the video, no audio at all, because there's multiple fights here. I thought this was just two adults, but as this fight, by the way, go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and you'll see this brawl in what I think is the wave pool prior to the big waves being turned back on by the machine. And let's roll this video only, please. All right, so you got two adults. They're in a boxing match. One guy he either fell down or got knocked down. And now I've got, it looks like another adult female. She's throwing haymakers. And now there's a dude with a hat. And you got two guys. It looks like they're almost punching either teenagers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, this is why I don't do public events, Dawn.
This is crazy.
I'm perfectly content staying in my house, staying on a golf course, going to the grocery store and the liquor store. That's it. I don't need this.
The thing about it is that, first and foremost, you hear some kids crying. This is this is all about kids.
Right.
Why are these adults or older teens, whoever, they need to call security and boot them out?
Yeah. This is why
sin.
Stalker has his own pool in his own backyard
Right.
and tips the pool boy.
Yes.
Bad enough going into any of these massive wave pools where there's kids in there that are peeing, right?
Yeah. And you're going to get those little, what is it called? They're little warts that the kids get in the baby pools. They got their drenched pull-up diapers, and they're like 5, and they should be potty trained years ago.
Yep.
Like, ew.
And then you have those people that don't wear the water shoes that get like the callus on the bottom of their feet, and then their feet,
the fungi.
The foot gets ripped open, and you got blood and pus in there. And I've got little kids dropping deuces or taking a number one. There's no chance you would ever get me in a wave pool publicly ever again. Sorry, girls. Daddy's not doing it.
It's nasty.
I'm also not doing roller coasters. So I'm really not the guy that you want to go to Dorney Park with.
And I love amusement parks in general, but that one, with all those losers, ruining the day for everybody.
And by the way, just for the record, this was not Dorney Park. This was in Buena Park, California. Knott's Soak City is apparently the name of the park. Knotts, Soak City. As you soak in a fight club here on Kayal and Company.
Fight Club.
Yep, there you go. Golf courses, grandmothers, and wave pools. God only knows what we'll have lined up tomorrow. And then, of course, we will vote. I keep drawing a blank. What was the Tuesday Fight Club that we played, Jimmy Kelly? Do you remember?
The Tuesday Fight Club was Kensington Fight Club.
That's right.
Where people were fighting each other with 2x4s, and the guy jumped on the ambulance.
Yes. This is the most amazing Fight Club week we've ever had.
It was a cross between Rocky V and ER.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
And yes, he made a nice Caddyshack reference there with the, something the baby Ruths floating in the pool water.
There you go. All right, we will come back, get to a Dawn Stensland Big 3 at 9. We'll call it 26, and then we've got a couple of more clips, and then we've got the music, the movies, and the preview for the Dawn Show. All still ahead. Kayal and Company on a Thursday. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. But first, let me tell you about my friends at Bucks County Estate Traders, because they don't make furniture like they used to. The reality is it's cheap. It's mass-produced junk, some of it probably coming from China. Their massive Hatfield showroom in Bucks County, 16,000 pieces of high-end furniture. We're talking about brands like Stickley, Baker, Henredon. And no matter your style, it doesn't matter if you're looking for the classic furniture, the modern, the rustic to traditional. You could be a novice on this or an expert. You will find stunning pieces that fit today's homes. And we're talking every room: living room, dining room, home office, or even that glorious man cave. Bucks County Estate Traders, they have it all. QR code displays the details instantly. Expert staff, straight shooters, no pushy salespeople. Swing on by, say hello to Matt Stanella. Big fan of our station. He's the owner. Check out their website. Call ahead. They'll have the pieces you want ready to show you. Visit buckscountyestatetraders.com or swing on by in Hatfield.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com, and take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants.
They say no two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app with over 16 million subscriptions sold? Well, we thought of you. All of you. Take Sierra. She's an artist and absolutely a visual learner. She's doing a deep dive into our Babbel wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is very much a type A, say it to my face, listening learner. So he checks with Babbel's speech recognition to make sure that accent?
Precio.
Keith's a real people person and a curious learner, so he loves Babbel's Culture Bites, full of insights and native knowledge about the language he's learning. Like, what's served for Christmas dinner in Germany?
Glühwein, Weihnachtsgans und Christmasstollen.
Wherever you are, however you learn, Babbel is the best choice to break any language barrier. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
At Wells Fargo, we know what got you into your business. Whether it's manufacturing, running a restaurant, or your business from home. What you didn't get into your business for was banking. But luckily, Wells Fargo offers business checking, payments, and lending all in one place, in your neighborhood and on our app, so you can focus on doing what you love. Wells Fargo, you're good at business, we're good at business banking. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/business. Terms apply. Wells Fargo Bank and a member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Matt from Emmons Roofing and Siding. And did you know we're locally owned, fully licensed and insured, and trusted by thousands of homeowners per year? We treat your home like it's our home.
Emmons is who I use. They install top quality roofing, siding, windows, doors, and even decks. For a free estimate, call Emmons today at 856-556-3229.
The most expensive project is the one you do twice. So call us today at 856-556-3229 or visit callemmons.com.
That's callemmons.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Keeping free speech alive. Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT. WPHT.
9:26 live on a Thursday morning. What a day it has been. Kayal and Company, Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Kayal, Dawn Stensland, Jimmy Kelly on the ones and twos, as they like to say. Phil Omquist will be coming up. He's got Today in Music History. Sean Farish will be back with us again tomorrow for the full 4 hours. And if you missed the news at 8:30 this morning, Jimmy Faila will be joining us every Thursday, starting next Thursday, July 17th at 8:30. So we will have, moving forward, Harry Mays on Monday, Tony Bruno on Wednesday, Jimmy Faila on Thursday, Sean Farish on Friday. If you would like to occupy Tuesday, the only day we don't have a guest, email Greg Stocker. Tell him you'll work for free, pro bono, or offer up a donation. Maybe he'll let you commandeer the playlist. 855-839-1210. Stocker will be back on Monday. We've got a couple of other clips that I want to get to after the big three, including the joint statement yesterday from Linda McMahon and Pam Bondi. We'll get to that and a few other things on the Title IX front. But first, let's get some news. Time for a Dawn Stensland Big Three at 9:27.
It's the Big 3 and 9 on Kayal and Company.
Big Three, sponsored by American Heritage Credit Union this morning. Number one, all of these warnings, weather warnings, flood warnings, still in effect. We have street flooding that is impeding commuters this morning, and the storm prompted, by the way, 3 tornado warnings Wednesday night. We had other weather warnings that have been going on, but this is across Delaware and New Jersey. So before the storms hit, we know residents spent the day cleaning up from Tuesdays, or as Greg Stocker says, Tuesdays, severe weather that brought down trees across the region. But even this morning across our region, we still have motorists driving through flooded areas. And this from Philadelphia, like the Manayunk section of Philadelphia, Main Street through Manayunk still flooded out. We had parts of 95 that were flooded out, Chester County, Newcastle, Delaware. So a lot of these warnings with still more rain in the forecast, much cooler. We're still at only, in the mid-70s and headed up to the low to mid-80s, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
But flash flood warnings through the night.
I was surprised that there was no ponding on 76 when I was coming in, because I'm coming down from the Lehigh Valley for these next couple of weeks, and I got off the Blue Route onto the Schuylkill. I was absolutely expecting to, because even up in Saucon Valley in Bethlehem, we got hit hard last night. And some of the back roads that I have to take to get to 309, to get to 663, to get to the Turnpike, they were flooded too. I had to go through, and I have a truck, but I mean, I was still going through a couple of the flooded areas at 5 miles an hour. It was pretty deep.
Yeah. So depending on where you are, some of the neighborhood streets weaving through in the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Chester County, certain areas, Glen Mills, Delaware County, and in the city throughout the region, Bucks County. So I will say this, that we got to get through today, mostly cloudy showers, downpours at times. That's much later this afternoon, but at least we're in the mid 80s. But tomorrow, things bright and partly sunny. We still have that threat of an afternoon storm, but at least we'll see the sunshine, upper 80s. And then for the weekend, it looks like, cross my fingers, but it looks like the weekend is going to be a much nicer, sunnier forecast moving through.
All right, good.
So we got that going on.
I need to play some golf. I need some dry weather. Enough of these showers.
Come on now, Mother Nature. Give Nick a break.
Give me something. I don't ask for much. I really don't.
We have American Heritage Credit Union sponsoring our first Big 3 homeowners journey, starting with the My CU Home Connection program from American Heritage Credit Union. So get started at AmericanHeritageCU.com/home connection, insured by the NCUA Equal Housing Opportunity, NMLS 433838. Not a member? No worries. Join today. Thank you, American Heritage Credit Union, for sponsoring number 1 in our Big 3. And sponsoring number 2, we've got Staples giving us a sponsor. We're talking about Maha because, well, not everybody's on board with getting rid of all the food dyes.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Mars, the maker of M&Ms and Skittles, has yet to join voluntarily because others have said, hey, we're ahead of the curve and we're already there, so we're just going to join the pledge and end the use of these synthetic food dyes that we've heard the current administration say some of these food dyes, they say, have been proven to cause things like cancer and other health problems. But in this one, I guess Mars, which makes this is a huge, food manufacturer, they've said, nope, we're not going to join. We're not going to do the pledge.
Yeah, that's interesting. Just 2 days ago, I said, boy, of all the pushback that, Elon Musk has received and Tulsi Gabbard, like Bobby has been rolling along, having success. And now, of course, here comes Mars. I'm actually looking up to see which actual All right, so Mars is responsible for the following brands: Three Musketeers, Altoids, Combos, Double Mint Gum, Dove, Eclipse, the gum, Hubba Bubble, Juicy Fruit, Lifesavers, Milky Way, M&M's, Snickers, Skittles, Starburst, Twix, Big Red Gum, Wrigley Spearmint Gum, just to name a few. So they are going to be company-wide saying no thanks, Bobby?
Apparently,
on the coloring?
I think that the headline is they're not doing the pledge.
The pledge.
They're not making this promise.
Okay.
So remember, we reported, and that was big news, PepsiCo had said we're going to remove all artificial ingredients by the end of this year.
Yep.
So
Kraft Heinz.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because, and who knew Pepsi, because all these conglomerates actually own a huge amount of foods.
It's insane.
But, I will say that this one, I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
We don't have, Mars is one of the most prominent candy makers in the nation. And so they've refrained from joining their other neighbors, if you will, and said, no, they're not going to make the pledge.
We need a Maha Mars Halloween boycott. Don't test us, Mars. Us parents out there that we load up those candies for trick or treat.
Yeah.
We will boycott you.
So we're following that one, and Maha, vowing to make our food healthier. Number 3, I will say, this is a missing teen who's said to be 1 in a million. This is an incredible story of survival, according to search crews. This is an Australian teenager, and according to the teen's parents, was swept out to sea while surfing, which is, in Australia down under, that's their thing. And everybody, all the kids after school or what have you, they, love surfing. So an athletic teenager just swept out to sea by the search crews. They were searching all day, couldn't find the teenager who's strong, who's athletic, who's a good swimmer. But then hope began to fade at nightfall. So the word is that as the morning sun rose and then about mid-morning, they can't believe their eyes many miles away on this remote island where nobody lives there. It's just this tiny little remote little pop-up island.
Yeah.
The chopper crews and everybody, they see here is this teenager that they have found.
How about that? And how long was he gone for?
He was gone.
Just hours?
No. He was gone all day, then overnight, technically 2 days, but
Okay.
I don't know if it's, so spent the night out to sea and was able to, thank God, by the grace of God, drift onto this island. Because, one thing about Australia is it's shark infested, right?
Great whites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dun,
About
dun,
that?
dun, dun.
This guy's like a mini Tom Hanks in Castaway.
My God.
Yeah.
So his parents ID'd him as Dossie Deefholtz, and his mom and dad just thanking God that Dossie is okay and perfectly fine, spent the night on the island, and they, choppered him home.
Yeah.
But it's this uninhabited, teeny tiny little island that they located him.
That's good work out of him.
So
2 days on an island.
Can you imagine?
Probably pretty fun once you landed, right?
I don't know.
I would have enjoyed it. It's not like he had to stay there for years like Hanks did.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember Hanks grew the beard. He was eating raw fish. He had a decayed tooth. He had to stick the ice skate through his face.
Found out his fiance married somebody else.
Played with a volleyball and called it Wilson. Wilson!
Well, we are sponsored by Staples. How many times have you said that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button, it's back, and it's got us saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos, plus high-quality products delivered next day to more than 98% of the U.S. Staples, that was easy. Thank you for sponsoring the last two of our big three. That's it for us.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. Let's get to one or two cuts before we get to the final stretch run. Let's go to clip 6 if we can, Phil. This is on the Title IX front with California playing hardball over men in women's sports as Linda McMahon, and interesting timing that Pam Bondi has reemerged. Nothing Epstein related, although who knows, Title IX files could be on Pam Bondi's desk. We know once the files go to her desk, that's where the magic happens or ends. Clip 6. Let's hear from two ladies that have had enough of Gavin Newsom and his nonsense.
Over the past several weeks, the Department of Education has notified the Department of Education in California, as well as the California Interscholastic Federation, that they were in violation of Title IX. They were allowing men to compete in women's sports. Now, this is after years of their being in violation of Title IX. We informed them that if they did not change, that we were going to refer these cases to the Department of Justice, and we have done exactly that.
Thank you, Secretary McMahon, for all of your hard work. And today, the Department of Justice has filed a lawsuit against California Department of Education and the governing body for women's sports in California. We've made it very clear, only women in women's sports under Title IX. An example in California, a boy who was in track and field. He would have lost every race. Yet in women's sports, he won over 36 medals. Those medals should be returned to the women, as well as no boys will be allowed in women's locker rooms. No longer. We have sued Maine. We're in litigation with Minnesota. We've sent multiple letters. And if you do not comply, you're next. The Department of Education and the Department of Justice, we will protect girls in girls' sports.
That's what I like to hear. You are next. California, any other West Coast state, the state of Washington, any other Pacific Northwest state, any Northeast state, because this is sadly, I think, a regional thing, right? Red states, southern states. I just saw a story in Oklahoma that if you are a teacher and you relocate to teach in Oklahoma, they make you pass an America First test that requires your ability to identify things in the Constitution, accept and admit that there are only 2 genders, not 14, and a few other things. I love the way they handle their business down in Oklahoma. Speaking of lawsuits, if DOJ doesn't do it, individual females should do it. And that's exactly what happens here in clip 2, as 2 girls are suing the state of Oregon, again, where left-wing lunacy reigns supreme, over a law allowing men to invade women's sports. These girls say that they were inspired to file the lawsuit in Oregon after witnessing the online social media dispute between Riley Gaines and Simone Biles. Let's roll just a little bit of this.
As we've worked towards this lawsuit, I think as more time has gone on, I felt more and more confident in what we're doing. And I think especially when Riley Gaines and Simone Biles, when that whole thing happened, and kind of seeing how that played out and how the public responded, I think that was encouraging to see how many people are on the side of protecting women's sports. And so I found that encouraging.
Yeah, I would agree. That scenario was very timely for us filing this lawsuit. And I agree with Sophia that it was super encouraging to see Riley just stay strong, have the supporters that really count, that really matter in this situation, and just like surround her and give her support. So that definitely affirmed that I have people out there for me. I have my family. I have the people that matter care, and I now have no fear of it.
I would watch
All right,
her.
we can get out of it right there. I think we have really turned the corner with Penn finally coming to their senses, stripping Leah Thomas of his awards that he had no business winning in female sports. Now you have Linda McMahon, Pam Bondi. You saw what we just played for you there in Oregon. Hopefully the floodgates, so to speak, open up. More females come forward, file suits in your respective states. And I think this thing is hopefully on its last leg in the stretch run of 2025. I'd like to think a year from now, we no longer hear about these stories anymore.
I don't know. Here in Pennsylvania, they're still gearing up. Like in Montgomery County, for example, we have Plymouth White Marsh High School.
Yeah.
That had the student is presumably a senior, I believe, so graduated. But in that case of the Quakertown girl, remember that?
Oh, that's right.
And I had interviewed her mom, Holly Megalenjo,
Yep.
who had sued, and unfortunately, a judge, that they chose that judge, but had said to the girl, who's a biological girl, well, you where are your damages? You weren't damaged. Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
But I do wonder. I mean, these schools still, and especially in Monco, they have geared up for these cases, and I think it's still going to be a battleground in places like Montgomery County, in Bucks County. We're still seeing it.
Monco,
they're
you
defiant.
say? I might have to attend a board meeting later this year.
You should.
I should.
And it's not about being, Nick, none of us are mean, or want any kid bullied.
No.
And you're from a sports background. Why can't they just do what we do, like in, for example, wrestling, where you have different layers? So if you want to be you, if you're a boy and you want to race.
Yeah.
Everybody can just stay in their lane.
Yeah.
It's really simple.
Should I go and cause a scene and go
No,
viral?
I don't think cause a scene.
I just
Because your girls will be like, Dad.
Yeah, you embarrassed us.
Yeah,
and then I'll be banned from their dance competitions. Although, on second thought, not having to go through a dance competition again does sound appealing.
Uh-oh, ulterior motive.
Yeah, I like to see my girls dance, but everybody else's daughters, sorry, no interest. All right, we'll come back, wrap up the show. Jimmy Kelly's Morning Mystery Movie clip for a chance at Rod Stewart tickets. Phil Almquist with Today in Music History. And what does Dawn Stensland have lined up at the top of the hour? We'll find out in just about 10 minutes. Stay there.
I have some exciting news from my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. Acura has just been named America's Best Value Luxury Brand in Kelley Blue Book's 2025 Consumer Choice Awards. So that means top performance, cutting-edge tech, unmistakable style, all with long-term value you can trust. From the sporty Integra to the all-new ADX Acura, delivering more for your drive and for your dollar. Just visit them. Piazza Acura in Ardmore, Reading, or Westchester. You can always shop online. PiazzaAcura.com, Piazza, PiazzaAcura.com for all those special offers. Thank you, Piazza Auto Group. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040. 800-408-4040.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992. When you call, you'll get free information. Free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992 today.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play stop to opt out.
Ugh, why does my bank always charge me fees?
That's because your bank is trash. Ever heard of Current? You could get a paycheck advance up to $750 if you qualify.
Wait, $750? Like before payday?
Exactly. It's your money, just early. Set up an eligible direct deposit, see if you qualify, and that's it.
So what's the catch?
No catch. No overdraft fees, no annual fees. And you can build your credit without falling into debt.
Wow, I needed this like yesterday. What do I do?
Text them. That's it.
To get started with Current, text card to 323232. That's card to 323232.
Banking services provided by Choice Financial Group and or Cross River Bank, both members FDIC. Paycheck advance provided by Fineco Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC insured bank. Product eligibility, availability, and performance may vary and are subject to change at any time. Using your credit card responsibly may allow you to improve your credit score. For details on cost, terms, and conditions, visit current.com or call 1-888-851-3177.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Just like a strong bullpen closes out the game and keeps the win secure, Plumbers protect the health of the nation. And here in Philadelphia, Plumbers Union Local 690 is always ready to deliver in the clutch. Whether it's hospitals, commercial, industrial, or residential projects, with the best trained plumbers in the world, you can trust your job will be done on time, on budget, and built to last. When your business needs to build new or expand, step up to the plate with Plumbers Union Local 690. Visit plumbers690.org.
You can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
$9:47, it's Kayal and Company on a Thursday morning. The Dawn Show coming up top of the hour. Phil Almquist, fresh off of his Producer Wars victory against Dan Borowski. He's coming up with Today in Music History in just a moment. But first, it's time to give away another pair of tickets to the Rod Stewart Show on the front lawn this weekend. But you have to be able to identify Jimmy Kelly's Morning Mystery movie clip.
And now, the Morning Mystery movie clip on Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Listen on. This is the truth of it. Fighting leads to killing. And killing gets to warring. And that was damn near the death of us all. Look at us now. Busted up and everyone talking about hard rain. But we've learned, by the dust of them all, Bartertown's learned. Now when men get to fighting, it happens here. And it finishes here.
Think you know what it is? Be call at 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
All week long, we have been giving out pairs of tickets, lawn tickets, to see Rod Stewart One Last Time tour. It's coming up this weekend, July 12th, at the Mann Center in Philadelphia. Tickets available Ticketmaster.com or by being caller number 12 right now, 855-839-1210. We will have one more pair tomorrow. All right, from the movies to the music, his head is getting bigger by the day around here. Phil Omquist, dare I ask you, sir, what occurred today in music history?
What happened on this day in music history? Music history on Kayal and Company.
Today, July 10th, we celebrate the birthdays of Rick Emmett from Triumph, who's 72, and Phil Sandoval from Armored Saint, who's 64. Heavenly birthday shouts to Ronnie James Dio and Sandy West from The Runaways. Sing include We Are the Champions by Queen in 77 and Liar by Three Dog Night in 71. Album include Chicago 5 by Chicago in 72 and A Hard Day's Night by the Beatles in 64. Also in 2012, Slash received a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In 2008, the drum skin on the cover of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper album sold at auction for $1 million. In 79, Chuck Berry was sentenced to 5 months in jail for tax evasion. In 69, the funeral for Brian Jones took place. In 74, David Bowie played the first of 5 nights at the Tower Theater in Upper Darby. The recordings made up his David Live album released later that year. Yesterday, Mammoth announced his third album titled The End, which will be released on October 24th. And Buck Cherry with Michael Monroe from Hanoi Rocks will be at the Keswick on October 12th. Also, Paul McCartney announced today a fall tour, but no local dates. The closest show is Pittsburgh on November 11th. For Kayal and Company, I'm Phil Omquist.
There he is, Phil Omquist. All right, we will see. I think we have our winner. Yes, we do. Matt is in Center City. He's identified the movie clip. Matt, what did we just play for you?
Good morning, Nick. It's 2 men enter, 1 man leave. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
There you go, sir.
Came out today
Congratulations.
in 85.
Boom. How about that? That's 40 years ago. Matt, congratulations. Rod Stewart tickets. Those go to you, sir.
Yay! Have a good week.
All right, brother. There he is, Matt in Center City. From Matt to Dawn, we find out what she has lined up 8 minutes from now.
Yes, so the Department of Education making a move, and this is a big controversy that has been swirling and aggravating for a lot of parents of, kids in private schools, tech schools, that sort of thing, that illegals can get those benefits. So is that fair that undocumented students can get benefits that then U.S. citizens and kids can't get? The Department of Ed, this is breaking news, making a decision on those benefits. I think you're going to like where they're going with this. We'll have that story. We're trying to get Holly Malenga, the mom that I referred to, the Quakertown mom, her reaction to these latest announcements, because it's a Pennsylvania case.
Mm-hmm.
And what about her daughter? Or girls here? We've got that. We have so much breaking and developing locally and nationally. We'll get to all of it.
All right. The Dawn Show is coming up next. Everybody have a great rest of your Thursday. Stay tuned for Dawn. She's up at the top of the hour. And we're back tomorrow morning on a fairish Friday at 6 a.m.
Good night, everybody.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are